Well, hi. So, this is a video I wanted to make literally since the day I started doing YouTube, and I put it off and I put it off partly because I didn't want to release a video, and then like 2 months later, Ubisoft put out a new piece of content with no Shaun and Rebecca material, and then my video would be incomplete. But at this time, that's looking pretty unlikely, unfortunately. So, I think that it might finally be time to make this video. So I actually started putting the script together for this one way back in 2024, but because of my hands, I wasn't able to actually make the video. I actually typed the entire thing on my phone, which is not the easiest to redraft. Finally, just in the last couple of weeks, I sat down at my new desk and my new setup with my semi-working hands and finalized the script. So here we are. I've made relationship timeline videos in the past, but they've all been for Witch. So if you're new to this series, here's what we're doing. I'm going to be looking at every piece of Shaun and Rebecca content in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise, dissecting it, and let's not kid around, fangirling a bit. I rank Shaun and Rebecca as number 3 on my favourite ships of all time videos, so that should tell you how utterly not normal I am about these two. But honestly, more than me just having a fangirl session for myself, I want this to be a comprehensive documentation of these characters. Shaun and Rebecca are, as of the time of writing this, the longest serving and most frequently appearing characters in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. And despite that fact, Ubisoft rarely ever acknowledged them in the marketing, the social media content, the transmedia, anything. These two are the backbone of this franchise, holding the modern day narrative together with some rubber bands and a tube of crazy glue. And after watching their partnership develop over 14 years, I think they deserve a proper analysis from someone who is unhealthily obsessed with them. Because if Ubisoft won't do it, then I will. I also just think that the relationship arc that these two have had is really interesting, and I don't think it gets enough attention from Ubisoft or the fans. And I just want to sit here and make a comprehensive guide to how their relationship evolved over the years. I remember people saying when Valhalla came out that they were really surprised to see that this relationship had become romantic. But I didn't think it was surprising at all. And so hopefully going through this video will help you see things the way that I always saw them. And you'll hopefully see that actually maybe this wasn't so out of the blue. Maybe the seeds were there from the very beginning. But before we start breaking down this relationship, we have to introduce the characters. So on one side, we have Rebecca Crane. Rebecca was born on the 3rd of February 1984, making her 42 years old as I write this. She's from the USA, and in her youth, she was really into extreme sports, snowboarding, jet skiing, that sort of thing, except really dramatic and dangerous. Eventually, the danger caught up to her and she broke her leg, and while she was recuperating, she taught herself to code. Her hacking skills drew the attention of the Assassin Brotherhood and they asked her to join, which she did. On the other side, we have Shaun Hastings. Shaun was born on the 16th of November 1985, making him 40 as I write this. He is from England in the UK. As a teenager, Shaun became interested in conspiracy theories, one in particular, the shady dealings of Abstergo Industries. Shaun posted his theories on a WikiLeaks type forum under the name Guy Fawkes. How painfully British of him. I bet Shaun loves V for Vendetta. For a while, Shaun evaded detection. He went to university to study history and became a junior professor, but eventually Abstergo caught wind of his online shenanigans and sent a squad to pick him up. And that's where our two heroes' worlds collided. The Templar Death Squad had collected Shaun and were en route to the Abstergo HQ in Rome, where they were planning to interrogate Shaun, find out what he knew, and then execute him and throw his body into the River Tiber. Luckily for him, Shaun had attracted the attention of more than just Abstergo. He had also been noticed by one Rebecca Crane. Sometime before the Templars went after Shaun, Rebecca had reached out warning Shaun to stop posting about Abstergo. She told him he was messing with the wrong people and putting himself in danger. But Shaun didn't believe her. For all his research on Abstergo, he somehow never came across the part where they shoot first and ask questions later. So at one point during the journey to Abstergo HQ, the van's onboard computer showed an alert that fuel was low, necessitating a stop. When the agents checked the van after the refuel, they found Shaun was gone. Someone had hacked the computer to show a false warning message, and I'll give you one guess who that was. Knowing there was a target on his back, Shaun accepted Rebecca's offer to join the Assassins and become a member of the Brotherhood. And from then on, he worked as the Assassins' resident history expert, partnered with engineer and animus builder Rebecca, which is where we find them when we first meet them in Assassin's Creed 2. Honestly, I love this backstory so much. The idea of Rebecca as this sort of guardian angel who was watching over Shaun from afar, keeping track of him just in case he ever got in trouble, and then when he finally did, she was there to save him. The first of many times it would turn out. I just think it's beautiful. She had no idea who this random Guy Fawkes person was or how important he would become in her life. Maybe the invisible string theory is real after all.
I'm sorry, where are my manners? I'm Shaun Hastings. This is Rebecca Crane.
When we pick up with Shaun and Rebecca in Assassin's Creed 2, it is September 2012 and they are working alongside Lucy Stillman and Desmond Miles to sift through the memories of Ezio Auditore and find the Apple of Eden he once possessed so that they can stop a Templar satellite launch. The first proper conversation we see Shaun and Rebecca have is about their perspectives on the Brotherhood and their goal. It reveals that they have quite different opinions on the work that they do, though they agree that it's necessary to enact positive change and prevent people with bad intentions from carrying out their plans.
Hey, nice work today. You're a natural.
Thanks. It's definitely getting easier. I gotta say, after all the crap I went through at Abstergo, it's nice to be with the good guys.
Good guys, let's not get carried away.
What's that supposed to mean?
In case you've forgotten, Rebecca, we're assassins. I can look it up for you if you like. Basically, it means we assassinate people.
Only when we have to.
It's a choice. You're choosing to kill.
I haven't killed anyone.
No, not yet. But what do you think all this is for? Eh? You think Lucy's giving you Ezio's abilities so you can build schools in South America and deliver rice to starving Indonesians? What are you, Desmond, a vegan? You'd be the first vegan assassin in history.
Look, it's not ideal. And taking a life is never easy. But sometimes, there's no other way. Sometimes, Desmond, people have to die for things to change.
She's got a point. But don't fool yourself into thinking you have no say. I mean, isn't that what we're all about here? Safeguarding free will?
The next conversation is Shaun explaining how he came to be in the Brotherhood to Desmond, and it's still one of my favourite scenes of the series.
There you go. I must have been, what, 14? 15?
You knew Abstergo was a Templar company?
No, not at first. I just knew they were up to no good, and I figured maybe I could do something about it. So I started digging up everything I could on the company, posting stuff to news groups, trying to spread the word, looking for people who might have stories to tell.
You must have gotten Abstergo's attention.
Well, fortunately, I got Rebecca's first. Otherwise, I'd probably be at the bottom of a river.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she tried to warn me, told me I was messing with the wrong kind of people.
And what did you do?
I thought you were mental.
But now you know better.
Yep, now I know you're just a bit mental.
Long story short, I saved his ass. Multiple times. Should have dropped him and let Abstergo have their way.
Listen to you, trying to be all badass.
I love everything about this. Shaun says that if Rebecca hadn't stepped in, he'd have been at the bottom of a river, acknowledging that she saved his life and is the only reason he's here to tell the tale. We can see right from their introduction that Shaun is a prickly asshole, and his dynamic with Rebecca is mostly bickering. But behind all of that, he is completely aware that he would be dead if it wasn't for her. He owes her his life. The "now I know you're just a bit mental" part is so cute to me, and I'm fairly certain that's the moment I started shipping them. It's an incredibly British thing to say, but it's also very obviously banter. British people mock their friends relentlessly. It's how we show affection, and Rebecca gives as good as she gets in their relationship. And I was just completely enamored with this dynamic right from the start. Rebecca says that she saved Shaun's life multiple times. We don't know what the other times were prior to this, but there will come a time when this line takes on a much darker tone in hindsight. But we'll get to that later. This scene perfectly sets up everything we need to know about these two and their relationship dynamic. Two people who, after 2 years of working together, drive each other absolutely crazy, but underneath it all, they have a tremendous respect and affection for one another. Later in the game, Shaun complains about Desmond being unprofessional, and Rebecca tells him to stop.
Alright. I'll let you get ready. See you in a few.
Ah, good of you to join us.
Sorry. Long night.
What a professional approach.
Leave him alone.
Well, you'll forgive me if I want to get some actual work done. Madness, isn't it?
Shaun, please, that's enough.
All right.
I should do a compilation of every time Rebecca scolds Shaun across the entire franchise. It happens a lot.
Ah! Oh, what are you, a tiny child?
Shaun!
Well...
In a scene that now does not exist due to the Ezio collection removing it, and because it replaced the older versions of the game that did include it, the scene just is completely wiped from existence. Reason being that it's the scene that takes place in the original version of AC2 when essentially the characters are explaining why you can't access sequence 12 and 13 because they were the DLC. So when the game came out, they weren't part of the game. So there was a scene there with the modern day characters explaining why they can't get into memories 12 and 13. But when the Ezio collection came out, they put all of the DLC into the game. So this scene is wiped from existence because there's no way to access it anymore. Unless you have an old original copy of AC2 without the DLC, which I do for my PS3. But in order to get this scene for you, I actually had to use an incredible resource that unfortunately is no longer updating, All Sounds Creed on Tumblr, because she archived a lot of audio over the years, and she has the audio files for this. So here it is, the scene where Shaun admonishes Rebecca for her comments on the bonfire of the vanities.
I like that movie!
Oh, did you like that movie? Oh, that's interesting. What other movies do you like? Rebecca, the grown-ups are talking.
I love this. It's just so funny. I think about it all the time. Rebecca, the grown-ups are talking. It kills me that this is gone. It kills me that I can't access this scene anymore because it was great. Assassin's Creed 2 ends with the hideout being raided by Abstergo, and we see Shaun and Rebecca trying to grab all the equipment and get it out to the van before Abstergo can stop.
Desmond!
Yeah.
All right, Shaun, I need you and Rebecca to get everything in here packed up and loaded into the truck. You and I'll deal with the Templars.
What, they're here?
It was only a matter of time before they discovered us. To be honest, I'm surprised it took them as long as it did.
Let's go.
Desmond! We have to go!
Them. And that's where we leave the second game. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood opens with the group arriving at the Villa Auditore in Monteriggioni after having escaped the hideout in the previous game, and Shaun and Rebecca have another moment of banter as they unload the van.
Can you skip ahead to a later memory?
No, it doesn't work.
Well, that sounds familiar. We couldn't access Altair's later memories until Desmond had improved his synchronization.
Then it's possible something similar's occurred here. Ezio's troubled state is being transposed onto Desmond, destabilizing the memory. Either that, or Rebecca's just not a very good engineer.
Thanks, asshole.
What? I'm simply listing possible explanations. And that is amongst the most likely. Touchy?
This place...
They're such dorks. Thanks, asshole. Desmond and Lucy go looking for a way into the sanctuary, leaving Shaun and Rebecca alone above ground. We can only speculate what nonsense they got up to while they were waiting for Desmond to open the door.
The road just loops back into the highway. This is not a good place for us to be right now.
Do we have any tarps? We need to cover up the van.
I really hate to stress this, yeah, but we are running out of time.
Well, help us then, Shaun. Do you have any ideas?
I don't know. Maybe there's another way into the sanctuary.
Hey, I think I've got something. Follow me.
Desmond, that was pretty awesome.
It just felt natural. We can get in through here.
Good job.
We'll just wait up here then, shall we? Yeah, all alone, with massive targets painted on our backs?
There's something here.
Can you open the damn bookcase, Desmond?
You guys did it.
About bloody time.
Once they get into the sanctuary, Shaun bickers with Rebecca once again.
Wait a second, guys. We need power down here. There's a line running nearby I can hook into, but the wattage is weak.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Anything else you two would like? You know, some caviar, perhaps? Maybe you'd like me to knit you a lovely hat? No? Fine, follow me.
But outside, we do get this comment from him to Desmond.
Right, look around Monteriggioni for circuit boxes. Rebecca's little doodahs, they'll reroute small amounts of electricity to the power line underneath the villa. Don't ask me how they work. If I understood that, I wouldn't be the fella hiding the van.
One thing we see a lot later in the series is that Shaun really admires and is in awe of how clever Rebecca is and the feats that she manages to achieve. He knows that he's hiding the van because he's not anywhere near as smart as Rebecca is. Not that he would ever admit that, at least not at this point in the series. He's in his reputation era. Pretend I didn't say that. I wrote that part of the script during the Eras Tour fever back in 2024. It felt a lot more relevant then. We get a variety of weird and wonderful conversations in the sanctuary, so let's take a look at some of them. At one point, Shaun mocks Rebecca for her love of extreme sports.
Always a tech geek?
Nah, I was into sports, but then I broke my leg and started playing with computers. Who knew that coding could be just as exhilarating as strapping on a board and dropping out of a helicopter?
Just FYI, you might want to get your adrenal glands checked. You know? Because that is not normal.
And later, we get this.
You still managing the teams out in the field?
No phone line. Rebecca's working on patching us into the network.
So how's it feel letting the lady do all the work?
She's no lady.
Hey!
Now, this next clip is, I believe, in my opinion anyway, our very first hint that Shaun's feelings towards Rebecca are more than platonic and a lot deeper than his constant bickering with her would let on.
You ever use the Animus?
Your ancestors have such interesting lives. I went in once. It was pretty lame.
Yeah, what were you? Some kind of spinster, probably.
Worse, a Prussian mercenary. I spent hours firing guns. Boring!
Yeah, guns are for sissies.
Why did Shaun use spinster as an example? Why does he assume that she'll be a spinster? Has she expressed a distaste for marriage? A plan that she's not going to be doing that in the future? And so what if she has? Why does Shaun see that as a bad thing if Rebecca doesn't want to get married someday? Could it be because if Rebecca's a spinster, then she'll never be in a long-term relationship with anyone? And that would include him. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that just fascinating? that the idea of the worst future for him is a future where Rebecca is not married to anybody. He doesn't want her to end up alone because he wants her to end up with him. In my opinion, anyway. But let's be serious. I'm right. At the time, back in like 2012, when I was playing this game for the first time, I was huffing copium. But it's 2026 and I was right. So, anyway, if you don't believe me, maybe this next conversation will convince you.
What's that?
It's a cipher with a unique disposable key. Imagine someone used the first letter of each word in the Declaration of Independence to encipher something. Well, without the Declaration itself, you couldn't decrypt it.
I could run it through the computer.
There are some things even a computer can't do. Like love, Rebecca. Like love.
This was the line that even my friend, who does not care about these characters at all, text me about, saying, like, does Shaun have feelings for Rebecca? And I was like, the text is the text, my friend. The way his voice trails off at the end as well, it's like love, Rebecca, like love. It's like, he feels that she spends all her time with computers, which cannot give her the love that a human can. But he could. And he would if only she would look up from her technology and notice him. Now, admittedly, if he stopped pulling her pigtails like it's a school playground, maybe she would. But I'm not sure he knows how else to talk to her at this point in time. And if you ask me, I think he's afraid to try in case it blows up in his face. He knows where he stands in this dynamic that they have, but if he tries to be vulnerable with her, well, there's a reason these two are a slow burn. Neither of them know how to do that. Immediately after that, Desmond asks Shaun about his romantic life, and
So, Shaun, any lions outside the Pride?
Who was that girl you were dating? Kate?
Yeah. Kate. Katie, kitty cat Kate. Charmed the pants right off her, I did.
Yeah, right. I know for a fact you didn't even get to second base.
Oh, what? What?
We had lunch.
You had lunch with Kate?
Whatever, I got work to do.
Shaun is clearly freaked out that Rebecca spent time with his ex, and the ex told her how badly their relationship failed. Now, why does this bother him so much? I mean, maybe it's just because that's embarrassing. Or maybe it's because he's in love with Rebecca and he doesn't want her to think that he's a huge loser who can't even get to second base with a girl. She's never gonna date him if his exes are shit talking him to her. But we also learn here that Rebecca is so ingrained in Shaun's life that she gets to know his girlfriends. For Kate to even have lunch with Rebecca, she must have spent a decent amount of time with her. Shaun must have introduced them. That's how significant Rebecca is in his life. You can't have one without the other. Later, the two argue about Europe.
How's the power situation?
It's okay for now, but the power lines are from the Stone Age.
Bloody third world country?
You're talking about Italy.
No, Europe in general.
I didn't know England was a third world country.
England is not in Europe, actually, Rebecca. We tolerate Europe, you know? Like a person tolerates herpes.
Now, I hate this scene because it spawned a load of Shaun voted Brexit jokes years later, when it's quite clear from his database entries that he hates the British government just as much as he hates Europe. Trust me, I know everything there is to know about this character, and he would not vote Brexit. Politically, he's probably an anarchist more than anything else. I mean, the man used Guy Fawkes as a pseudonym. Like, what do you expect? He believes in equality, as in you should hate everyone and everything equally. Later again, they argue over Rebecca's vegetarianism, something that Shaun still finds annoying years later, and makes comments about it.
Carnivore?
Hypocrite. Did you know plants give off chemicals which attract predatory insects when they're attacked? Sounds pretty animal-like to me.
You know too much for your own good.
That's what my priest used to say.
Then they discuss the bizarre tradition of sending the Pope a letter about the sex that you have on your wedding night.
So Cesare was pretty secretive.
Yeah, he was, except, weirdly, when it came to sex. After his wedding, he sent a letter to the Pope explicitly describing the intercourse on his wedding night. According to the letter, Cesare and his French bride did the deed 8 times.
Isn't that a Catholic thing?
What?
You're supposed to send the Pope a letter about your wedding night. Let the old guy live a little, you know?
You know, that sounds quite plausible, actually.
Hilariously, years later, Shaun does make a joke about his wedding night to Layla, and Rebecca tells him to shut up. I wonder if he told the Pope. I hope he did. Later, Shaun mocks Rebecca again.
That disrupted memory seems to be getting clearer.
It's amazing. The sequence is repairing itself as if we're helping you work through psychological trauma.
So I'm gonna be a more balanced person by the end of this?
I have no clue. But the idea is cool.
Are you saying that because you feel guilty about frying his brain?
Shaun's on latrine duty.
Deal.
Oh, of course, yeah, you side with her. Communists.
It just never ends with these two. But does she look offended? She never does. She never does. So whilst living in the sanctuary, Desmond had access to his colleagues' emails thanks to Eredito. Remember Eredito? This franchise is falling apart. But the emails give us even more insight into the bond between Shaun and Rebecca, especially when we see how they speak to each other when they think no one else is listening. So let's go through them. The 19th of September. Subject, yogurt. Lucy. I had 2 yogurts in the mini fridge as of this morning, and now they're gone. I'm hungry and annoyed, so who took them? Shaun. Lucy, I am supremely disappointed that you would make such allegations of your dedicated staff. The accusation is unjust, unfounded, and frankly rather insulting. Rebecca. Shaun ate both of them. I know, because he asked me if I wanted one. Lucy. Thanks, Becca. Shaun, you're on cleanup for the next week. Shaun. This just in. Rebecca's a Templar. I mean, he offered her a yogurt. Look, I've seen people on Tumblr ship things for less, okay? Let me live. One of the most famous emails in this game comes on the 21st of September with the subject MP3 player. Rebecca. Hey guys, I can't find my MP3 player, the little black one. Let me know if you see it. I have trouble sleeping without my tunes. Shaun. Found it. Rebecca. Thanks for the hand up earlier. Where was it? Shaun. My nightstand. This was so famous with the fans because everyone was like, what does that mean? Why was it on his nightstand? Now, I mean, it could just mean that Shaun took her MP3 player and left it on his nightstand, but it was stated by Darby McDevitt, writer of Revelations, Black Flag, Valhalla, and the captain of the Sean Beck ship, that the implication was that they had been in bed together and that's how the MP3 player had ended up there. And that's pretty much been accepted as canon by most fans. Darby McDevitt is 100% sailing this ship. He is captaining it. He is the one that we rally behind. I so appreciate his contributions. So much of this video is built on the back of Darby McDevitt's influence. Now, there is an issue here, which is that we never actually see any bedrooms in Brotherhood when they're staying in Monteriggioni. And it appears that the gang are sleeping on the floor of the sanctuary because there's sleeping bags there. But I think what actually happened here is that the writing team for the modern day and for these emails and the location design team weren't really communicating, and no one realized there was a discrepancy between how they are talking as if they're living and how they look like they're living in the actual level design. So I've headcanoned that either they did have rooms in the Villa Auditore that they were using as like a personal space, like to have some privacy from each other, getting changed, if they need to have a cry, that kind of thing. Or they were renting rooms at the Monteriggioni Hotel for like the same reason. In any case, there aren't any nightstands in the sanctuary, so if he had it on a nightstand, they have to be sleeping somewhere. The fact that Darby was running off the back of this email for 10 years until he finally got to make this shit canon is so funny to me. Me, Darby McDevitt, going down with this ship. Okay, the 25th of September, with an email with the subject, Eats. Rebecca, going to get some eats from the cafe in town. Anything? Shaun, that nice pasta dish I like. Thanks. P.S. I have no euros, so thanks in advance. What we get from this is that she knows him well enough to know what nice pasta dish he likes. I think that's relevant. Some of you watching this are going to be like, Lauren, you're scraping in the bottom of the barrel for analysis here. But you know what? Slightly different one now. On the 28th of December, Rebecca sends an email to Lucy about how she's struggling with their situation. And she says, Hey Lucy, this is getting harder and harder. I miss my family. I miss my dog. I miss my life. I know what we're doing is important, but I can't help but feel this way, especially when we're spinning our wheels like we are now. I guess all I'm saying is I need someone to talk to, and you're the only person who understands. I guess there's Shaun, but he just makes sarcastic comments. I just don't want that right now. So, Rebecca does opine later in Assassin's Creed 3 that Shaun's way of dealing with stress might be being a sarcastic asshole. And I think she's right because he is much less of an asshole later on, and he does kind of acknowledge that this was something that he did earlier in the series, but that, it was the pressure of the fact that the world was literally about to turn to ash. So while this message does sound negative, I think it's more that her dynamic with Shaun has always been like a more fun, jovial thing, but neither of them really know how to navigate it under these circumstances. So when she's struggling emotionally, he's not the person that she goes to. But after Lucy dies, and then even more so after Desmond dies, she doesn't really have many other options. So her and Shaun kind of have to learn to be the emotional support for each other because there isn't anyone else left to do that. And Shaun definitely mellows later in the series, which probably made him more approachable. On the 30th of September, we get this really long email train that is just so chaotic. It's titled Emergency. Shaun. Rebecca, found this riddle in my research and I can't crack it. Any ideas? I think it might be the key to the location of another piece of Eden. Why did the bald man paint rabbits on his head? Rebecca. Never seen anything like that. Any more info? Seriously, another piece of Eden? Shaun. Yes, if we both dig, I think we can solve it. Top priority for right now. Rebecca. Understood. Have you told Lucy? Shaun. Not yet. I didn't want to get her excited before we had something concrete. I think I just cracked it. Rebecca. What's the answer? Looping in Lucy. Shaun. Because from a distance, they look like hairs. Rebecca. Ellipses. It might be the end of the world, but Shaun still has time to prank Rebecca. Bear in mind that this is the same dude that moaned every time Desmond spoke to him in AC2, which at this point is like 2 weeks ago in universe, because he was trying to work and it was distracting and he wasn't taking things seriously, blah 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 blah. Turns out that Shaun has the capacity to faff about too when he wants to, and especially when Rebecca's involved. If the MP3 email wasn't enough to make you think these two might have something going on, this next one might change your mind. It's an email on the 2nd of October titled This Afternoon. Shaun, I found some really good beats the other day. Want to come on mine for a listen when you get off watch? Rebecca, just a smiley face. Nothing else. What this does mean, whether they're like secretly shagging or not, is that Shaun and Rebecca are closer than they let on to the rest of the group. They spend a lot of time together, just the two of them. And isn't that curious? Hmm. I also had to think this game was set in October of 2012. Like, what song were they listening? What was the beats that you found? Like, I imagine it's meant to be some kind of like obscure EDM or something, but like, what was big in 2012? Like LMFAO? Like, was he coming there with Party Rock Anthem? I'm gonna have to look up after I make this. Like, what was like a new song that came out around the 2nd of October 2012 that he could possibly be talking about? I think it's important that we know that information. On the 3rd of October, Shaun sends an email to Lucy saying that he wants to go into the Animus and explore his Norse ancestry, and that Rebecca has agreed to monitor him while he does it. And what's really funny is that this random idea from this straight email that Lucy doesn't even dignify with a response actually did come to fruition 10 years later in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Darby McDevitt, king of attention to detail. Also, Darby McDevitt, only person at Ubisoft that has any concept of a cohesive narrative anymore. On the 7th of October, Shaun sends an email to the group titled What About Drinking? Colleagues, we've been cooped up in this dungeon for ages. I feel it's best for both our sanity and our productivity if we go into town tonight and enjoy the local colour. He also spells colour without the U in this email, so that is a continuity mistake, because Shaun would never. He would die before he forgot to put the U in a word. Anyway, a bit of wine and maybe some music. Please advise. Rebecca says, What about Desmond? Lucy, He can't leave the sanctuary, and I won't leave him alone. Shaun, looks like it's just the two of us, Rebecca. Rebecca, what? A date with Shaun? Three exclamation marks. Shaun knew full well Desmond and Lucy weren't going to go with them. He planned that shit, and you won't convince me otherwise. He's like, looks like it's just the two of us as he sits in his corner, like, with his heart thumping out of his chest, sending heart eyes over at Rebecca at her desk. So this was sent on the 7th of October in the evening, and on the 8th of October, early the next morning, he says to Lucy, relief, where are the pain pills we have? I've got a ripping headache. 8 a.m. the next morning. Someone's hungover. What on earth did him and Bex get up to last night? I'll throw in an anecdote here. So, in one of Unity's database entries, Shaun randomly mentions something about having licked a rat in the past and then won't elaborate on how it happened. So, I like to imagine that it happened on this night out. It just feels like the kind of stupid shit that these two would get up to while pissed. So that's it for the emails of Brotherhood. It's now the 10th of October 2012, 72 days before the Templar satellite launch, and the team finally know where to find Ezio's Apple of Eden. Shaun and Rebecca bicker again in the Sanctuary tunnel.
God!
Tell us already!
I am! The Tetragrammaton, the 72 names of God. You see? They're all contained within 3 verses, Exodus 19 through 21. And get this, you'll like this, if you arrange the 4 Hebrew letters in God's name within an equilateral triangle, their numerical values add up to the same number. 72.
Are you absolutely sure about this?
That's kind of why I'm saying it out loud, Rebecca, yeah, but...
And then over at the Colosseum, Shaun takes a pop at Rebecca's driving.
I'll drive.
Ah, yeah, nice try. I've seen your car.
Fun fact, we've never seen Rebecca drive. Even in Valhalla, it's still Shaun behind the wheel. He is serious about never letting her anywhere near the van. She doesn't get to drive. Also, when has he seen her car? Like, she doesn't appear to bring it to work, considering, well, she has a target in her back, and they like to travel in nondescript white vans. Damn, Assassin's back at it again with the white vans. Anyway, my point is, this suggests that they must have spent time together outside of work if he's seen her personal vehicle, because she doesn't bring it to missions, understandably. Later on at the Santa Maria Aracoli, we get this moment.
I like the ceiling.
Do you? You like the ceiling? Oh, you are a fascinating travelling companion.
I'm sorry, but look at how they look at each other. He's even watching her when she isn't talking. And that smirk that she gives him when he taunts her, this is crush material. You cannot convince me otherwise. This is flirting. They arrive at the first Civ temple, and okay, funny story here. So, in gameplay sequences like this, Lucy, Shaun, and Rebecca are coded as just like standard NPCs, and their pathing is not great. So, one time when I was playing, Shaun and Rebecca bumped into each other and started shoving each other like the way the guards do in the game if you bump into them. So, the two of them are just standing behind Desmond, just shoving each other back and forth. And to me, that is the most canon thing ever.
I know this, I know that symbol. That's a Phrygian cap. It stands for freedom, and that's a Masonic eye. Now those two come together in only one place.
What's happening? I can't move.
That's the last we really get to see of the two of them in Brotherhood, as just a few minutes later, Desmond's body is taken over by Juno and he stabs Lucy in the stomach. The pair of them fall to the floor unconscious, and we don't see what happens next, but I imagine Shaun and Rebecca were somewhat traumatized. As far as they were aware, one minute their friends were standing in front of them, and the next they were both lying in a pool of blood on the floor. I wish we could have seen what happened. Suddenly, they're alone. No Lucy in charge, no Desmond with his parkour skills and his eagle vision, just the engineer and the historian, alone in the bowels of the earth with one friend dead and the other in a coma. How did that affect them, and what did they do? I imagine it must have brought them closer. And thankfully, we do get a sense of how it affects them in the next game. Assassin's Creed Revelations modern day takes place entirely within the Animus, apart from like 2 seconds at the very end, in a space that they call Animus Island. Desmond's trauma from killing Lucy has left his mind fractured and his body comatose. His brain is able to continue using the Animus, where he relives Ezio's memories of his time in Turkey, as well as connecting with what's left of Subject 16, the previous Animus user, whose real name is Clay Kazmarek. Meanwhile, Desmond's body is still in the real world, and as such, he can occasionally hear what's going on in the outside. Early in the game, Shaun calls Rebecca, but they don't get to say much to each other because William takes over the conversation. What we do hear is that Shaun is not handling this whole situation well.
It's Shaun. Shaun, what's going on?
Let me talk to him.
Did you... Hold on, I'm putting you on speaker.
Shaun, it's William. Is everything taken care of?
Oh, well, hello to you too. For Christ's sakes, man, have some class.
All right, calm down.
Oh, that's rich. Yeah, Lucy's dead, and you want me to act like it's Easter Sunday, do you? How's Desmond, anyway? Giving in?
That's enough, Shaun.
Shaun has stayed in Rome to organise Lucy's burial, whilst Rebecca had to go with William and Desmond so she could monitor Desmond's condition. And later, Rebecca calls Shaun, and this is one of my favourite moments of theirs.
Shaun, it's me. What's happening?
Are you at the airport?
Yeah, we're chartering a jet. Are you coming?
Yes, yeah. I'll be there soon.
Good.
They buried her already.
I heard.
A little cemetery outside Rome. Nice place.
God, things got so fucked up so fast.
Is Desmond still out?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of brain activity, but with the monitoring system shut down, we can't record anything.
Well, keep me posted, okay? I'll see you soon.
You can hear in Rebecca's voice that she's panicking, that he's not going to come with them, but then breathes a sigh of relief when he says he'll be there soon. She was worried that he wasn't going to join them and they would have to leave and go on with their mission without him, and she doesn't want to do that. We also hear this rare moment of vulnerability from Shaun. They're both struggling, and for once, there's no bickering, there's no sarcasm, no stupid comments. They're just two people trying to emotionally support each other through this terrible time. They do care about each other, and they're closer when things are going wrong. Once the group are reunited, we hear another conversation between Shaun and Rebecca.
Shaun, you feeling okay?
Sure, yeah, of course. No, I'm fine. Yeah. We're assassins, after all, aren't we, eh? Why should we be surprised if one of us dies every now and again?
Every death is a tragedy to somebody somewhere.
What I want to know is Desmond worth all this trouble, you know? What is he? Is he the chosen one? Is that it? Little Jimmy Special? Some bollocks like that?
Rebecca checking in on Shaun is something we haven't really seen so far because they haven't really had any struggles so far. But now we see that when things are bad, they do check in on each other. Also, can I just throw in here that every death is a tragedy to somebody somewhere is one of my favourite lines in the whole series, and one of the main reasons that I love Rebecca so much. She has a much more balanced view of what being an assassin means than a lot of people. But also, I think this is a line that people in the real world could do well to remember. As Rebecca says in Assassin's Creed 2, sometimes people have to die. Sometimes people commit crimes. Sometimes people live their lives in a way where we, as morally upstanding citizens, look at them and think, you don't deserve to share our oxygen. But there's always going to be someone in the world who loved them, someone who will grieve their loss, and it's worth bearing that in mind. Every death is a tragedy to somebody somewhere. There isn't really anything else to cover in Assassin's Creed Revelations. At the very end, Desmond wakes up and you see Shaun and Rebecca like standing next to the Animus, but that's about it. So we'll move on now to Assassin's Creed 3. In AC3, Desmond, William, Shaun, and Rebecca arrive at the first Civ temple somewhere in New York and venture inside to hopefully stop the end of the world. Inside the temple, we get this conversation.
I've managed to locate a power source, and it's relatively close by. Up for a trip to Manhattan?
Is it safe to leave? Abstergo's gotta be looking for us.
Obviously it's not safe. Can't exactly sit around here hoping to get lucky though, can we? We need that power source. Besides, I'm sure you can cook up some way to hide our movements.
Maybe. The Templars have access to all kinds of satellites and camera systems. We'll need to find a way to mask our digital signature. I can probably camouflage the van too, but there's not much I can do for us.
That's an easy one.
Of course, I notice Shaun putting his hand on Rebecca's back, and of course I'm emo about it. I like this moment because Shaun both throws his usual sarcastic shade, but he's also trying to build Rebecca up in the same breath, and it works. You know, she seems to be galvanized by that. During the Modern Tower mission, we get another instance of Rebecca telling Shaun to shut up. Add it to the compilation.
Jesus.
Look on the bright side. No security to worry about.
And on the not so bright side, the slightest misstep means you're effectively paced.
Shut up, Shaun.
We also get the first instance of Shaun mocking Rebecca for her cannabis use. At the time, I thought this was a joke, but no, it's true and it does get brought up later in the series. Girly is a pothead.
Almost there, Desmond. Once you reach the top of the lit-up crane, you should be high enough to make the jump.
Should?
It'll be fine, don't worry.
Well, you might want to worry a little. I'm pretty sure she was high when she was running the numbers.
Shaun!
A joke. It was a joke. Or was it?
Back in the temple, they have a moment bickering about Juno.
I know everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I can't shake the feeling we're being watched.
We are being watched. By Juno. Or some version of her.
Do you think it's a recording? Or is she a ghost? Or something else? Is she talking to us the way Minerva talked to Ezio?
No clue. I mean, who knows what else they were working on down here? There's still so many rooms we don't have access to.
But do you think she's like literally down here, waiting somewhere, still alive?
Still alive? That's mental. That means she'd be at least 75, 80,000 years old? They're powerful, yeah, but not that powerful.
They came down here looking for a way to survive. Maybe they found one.
And later on, Desmond overhears them discussing something.
I'm telling you, there's something down here.
Don't be daft.
I don't know, maybe they were sleeping or something and we woke them. Some kind of cryogenics? Or hibernation? I mean, how do we know what the hell they were doing down here?
They were working on a bunch of different solutions, but nothing worked. Just went from one to the next, and then... I don't know. They must have left at some point. After the end.
I wonder what the world would be like if they'd succeeded.
I'm more concerned about what it'll be like if we don't.
Salvation.
Again, this is a moment where they aren't really bickering, they're just sort of chatting, and the end of the conversation is uncharacteristically somber for them. Later on, Desmond wakes up from the Animus, and Shaun and Rebecca have to tell him about his father's kidnap, and they're clearly emotional about it.
Something's happened, Desmond. Abstergo has your dad.
Where?
Italy. Same place holding you.
What are you two waiting for? Let's go.
There's more.
Hello again, Mr. Miles. I hope this message finds you well, or as well as it can, all things considered. It appears we now each have something the other desires. I propose a trade. Bring me the apple, and I'll return your father to you no worse for the wear. Should you refuse, he will still be returned, albeit much worse for the wear. I assume you'd like to avoid an unpleasant outcome.
It's one of the few moments where without Bill or without Lucy where we get to see just how much this is weighing on these three specifically who have, been thrown into this situation. Later, Shaun lets the others know about his experiences with mana.
I've been poking around a bit. Did you know there are machines down here that make, well, mana?
Wizard mana or biblical mana?
What do you think? Biblical, of course. The Greeks called it ambrosia. The Indians, amrit or soma. Most cultures around the world refer to a divine food, though I'd say its taste is anything but.
You ate something that came out of a 75,000-year-old machine?
And I live to tell the tale.
So? What did it taste like?
Cardboard. Taste of cardboard. Hardly the stuff of legends, though. I wonder if the first civilization didn't taste differently than we do.
Maybe the flavorizer broke.
Flavorizer. You've certainly got away with words, Rebecca.
I love these two. World's smartest idiots. Later, Shaun, Rebecca, and Desmond discuss taking a vacation together.
Hey, when this is all over, we should take a trip somewhere. Celebratory vacation.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Now listen to you. Italy, Brazil, and the United States, all in the span of a few weeks. And you're complaining about not getting out enough?
Seriously, Shaun?
No, not seriously. Are you mad? Trust me, no one wants time off more than I do, right? Do you have any idea how hard it is to crank those database entries out as fast as I do?
Clearly, they like the idea of spending even more time together, despite being trapped together for 24/7 for months by this point. I think that speaks volumes. I mean, yeah, Desmond would be there too, but my point stands. They're okay with spending 24/7 together. And ironically, Shaun and Rebecca would end up trapped together 24/7 after this game finished, and it was not a vacation. We're almost at the big finale of AC3, so let's take a look at the emails first. On the 1st of November, Shaun sends an email to Desmond, William, and Rebecca titled Three Sad Faces. And he says, "Good Lord, Rebecca, with all the fixes and updates and improvements you supposedly put into this recent software revision, one would think you would have had the proper decency. Oh, one would think you would have had the decency to include a British language dictionary in the spell checker. Some of us prefer to use proper language when corresponding. The database keeps trying to replace the letter S with Z in certain words, and it's declared war on the letter U as well. Realize becomes realize, and colour becomes colour. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It's all rather ethnocentric, if you ask me, and quite against the principles of the Assassin Brotherhood, last I checked. And here I thought we were all meant to be an inclusive bunch." Rebecca doesn't reply. Fair play. On the 3rd of November, we get an email from Rebecca titled Email Fix. Just a quick heads up, replying to email chains will no longer return multiple instances of the word re. Should cut down on subject length considerably. And Shaun replies with, "Are you sure about that? See above?" And he's edited the title subject to say re email fix. And she says, "Haha, very funny, Shaun." And then, much like with the riddle email, the senior member of the team steps in and tells them to focus. On the 7th of November, we get an email very similar to the one in the previous game, where Rebecca is emailing Desmond to talk about how she's feeling. And she says, "Shaun is really getting on my nerves. You'd think with everything that's going on, the guy would stop being such a douche. Maybe he thinks it's funny, or maybe it's part of his snarky British charm, or maybe it's how he deals with the stress. Whatever it is, it's getting old real fast. We've got enough to worry about, the end of the world and everything. You'd think he'd show a little restraint or maturity or something. Sorry, not like you need to hear me venting. You've got enough on your plate. Please don't say anything to him, though." 3 exclamation marks. This one makes me sad. Rebecca acknowledges that Shaun's attitude could be a coping mechanism, which, as I said, he sort of confirms later in Syndicate, but either way, Rebecca's really pissed off with him. But she also tells Desmond not to say anything to Shaun with 3 exclamation marks. She obviously doesn't want to upset him or make things awkward. And I mean, who hasn't ranted about their partner and then tell the person, "Don't say anything though." And then on the 12th of December, this one isn't a Shaun and Rebecca one. I just think it's good to have the context of how Rebecca was feeling at the very end of the game. She sends an email to Desmond saying, That email broke my heart because it's like the final line is exactly the same as literally my favorite scene in all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is the scene where Buffy's like, "Read me the signs, tell me my fortune. You're so useful sitting here with all of your books." Giles, I'm 16 years old. I don't want to die. There's something about that that just hits so hard. It's my favorite. Assassin's Creed 3 ends with Desmond confronting Juno and Minerva, and they reveal that Desmond, Shaun, Rebecca, and William would survive the apocalypse and start humanity over. And we see Shaun and Rebecca together in the vision. But of course, Desmond chooses to stop the solar flare, and the last we see of the characters is them leaving the temple with William, whilst Desmond sacrifices his life to save the world. From here, Shaun and Rebecca's story is picked up by AC Initiates, which was a web project that heavily featured the modern day Brotherhood. Following William's death, no, following Desmond's death, William, Shaun, and Rebecca all went dark for a planned 6 months. Where they were or what they were doing during this time is unknown, but the main priority was evading Abstergo's detection. I like to think that Shaun and Rebecca bunkered down together and Bill buggered off elsewhere. It's more romantic that way. Bill Miles is a vibe killer. However, the team surfaced earlier than scheduled on the 14th of May 2013, with Shaun texting Gavin saying, "Breaking the 6 month silence a little early to invite you for some." What does that say? Kveach? And a pisco sour. You know the place. I don't know what he's saying, but. On the 20th of May, Gavin Banks' team picked up Shaun and Rebecca from Peru, meaning either they'd been together the entire time or had reunited to go back to work. It was the former, don't argue with me. The pair stayed on Gavin's ship, the Altair 2, for 9 days. Gavin dropped them off in California on the 29th of May. Gavin says, "I need eyes and ears in America, and you two have more than proven yourselves. Find out what's going on and check in with me whenever you can." And Rebecca says, "Are we getting kicked off the boat because Shaun keeps puking?" And Gavin replies, "Godspeed, assassins," before Shaun barfs over the edge. On the 10th of June, Shaun and Rebecca were having drinks in a bar in Jasper, Texas. Rebecca sends a text to Gavin saying, "Texas is awesome, but I think Shaun would rather be back in your boat." In the image, we can see Shaun rubbing his temples with a bottle of beer in front of him, and Rebecca has a pint. It's very cute. Beer buddies. On a date. On the 27th of August, Rebecca texts Gavin to tell him that she and Shaun have spoken and decided to go to Abstergo to find out what happened to Desmond's body, and that they have a plan to do it, leading in to the story of Black Flag. The text reads, "We've talked about it and we're going to find Desmond's body, or at the very least, find out what Abstergo plans to do with his genetic info. We owe this to William. But where to start?" On the 6th of September, Shaun and Rebecca travelled to Black Hills, South Dakota to visit what was left of the farm, Desmond's childhood home. They have an emotional conversation about everything that's happened. "This is so weird, isn't it?" "How so?" "I mean, it all happened so quickly. It feels like we barely knew him." "I suppose. But in that short time, we broke him out of Abstergo, went on the run, watched him murder our friend who turned out to be a traitor, nursed him through a coma, crossed the ocean, and helped him reconcile with his father before he died to save the planet." "Yeesh, when you put it that way." "All I'm saying is, I think we made the most of what little time we had, and we made a difference. The world lives to turn another day. Isn't that what we should hold on to? When you put it that way." He was a bit annoying at the beginning, though, wasn't he? Maybe a little. That's what we said about you, too. Oi! From this conversation, not only do we get a better sense of how they both felt about Desmond, we also see a deeper connection building between the two of them. Before, Rebecca didn't go to Shaun when she was struggling emotionally, but here we see them trying to comfort each other. We also see Shaun trying to do a better job of being supportive rather than dismissive, although he does follow up with his usual sarcastic joke, which Rebecca returns. On the 24th of October, Shaun and Rebecca arrived in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, to begin undercover work at Abstergo Entertainment, which is where we find them when Assassin's Creed Black Flag begins. The Shaun and Rebecca scenes in Black Flag are some of my favourites of the entire series. And trust me, you might not care that the modern day has been removed from Black Flag resynced, but I am furious. Their banter in this game is god tier. And in my opinion, this is when we really see their dynamic shift from colleagues and friends, where one has like a hidden crush, to a romantic relationship, or at least the flirty precursor to one.
I am not sure I can keep this up, you know? This job is well below my skill level.
Yeah, well, your coffee is shit. You could use some practice.
What? No. I followed that recipe to the letter.
It's an art, Shaun, not a science.
Oh, look who's here. So you didn't forget, after all. You're just incredibly rude. And made poor Rebecca here wait for nearly 30 minutes.
You limey. Be nice. Sorry about him. He's high on his own supply. So, how should we do this? Data transfer? Great. That should do it. We'll email you the receipt. Till next time. Take care, Shaun.
Bye-bye, yes, bye. And don't expect any more free coffee. Arrogant. She's great, isn't she?
Look at them! Shaun is annoyed that the noob made Rebecca wait for half an hour, except he's not because he gets to spend time with her. And then he hurls his usual insult at her as she walks away. But then he turns to the noob once Rebecca's out of earshot and says, "She's great, isn't she?" And then wistfully stares after her. Why would he do that? I've seen people say that their banter in this game was like part of their cover story, but why would it be? If anything, they should want to stay away from each other so as not to arouse suspicion. I've also seen people say that he's faking his flirtatiousness to like annoy her and wind her up, but he makes this comment when she can't hear him, so that wouldn't mean anything. It's entirely genuine. He's absolutely besotted with her and he's not even trying to hide it anymore. Bro is down bad. Also, bear in mind that this game was written by Darby McDevitt, and he is the Shaun and Rebecca ship captain. So it makes complete sense that this is genuine affection from Shaun, because it's written by the main Shaun and Rebecca shipper, other than me, obviously. And their next scene, Shaun is once again being a hopeless puppy.
Do you, like the allongé? I practiced.
I think you pulled it a little too long.
Oh, come on. It's not encrypted code, for God's sakes. It's just a bloody coffee. Oh, hooray! It's our old friend.
Hey there. I just got a call about picking up another transfer.
Oh? You said you were here to see me.
Yes, that is one of the perks. Let's see it. A conference in Chicago. Very nice. Thanks for this. We'll be in touch.
Ciao, Rebecca. Text me.
Stuff it, Hastings.
Listen to him, down bad, crying at the counter. I refuse to believe that they aren't living together by this point, but Shaun is known to be a nervous wreck, so he probably needs Rebecca to text him like every 20 minutes to stop him having a mental breakdown at the coffee machine. And did you notice he puts his hand on his heart when she says seeing him as one of the perks? I can't cope. You should have seen me in 2013 seeing this shit for the first time. I was unwell. Now we're going to look at something that's happening over on Initiates, but it's taking place during Black Flag, and it's a conversation between two Abstergo Entertainment employees, Jennifer Tam and Philippe Chartrand. Here's the conversation. Jennifer says, "I've already had 3 coffees today. I'm developing a mild crush on that British barista. It must be true love because I keep going back and drinking his shitty coffee. But that accent, that sweater vest, oomph. Oomph is like so out of fashion now as well. It's such a Tumblr 2014 word." Philippe then replies, "Shaun the barista? Really? I think he dyes his hair and then uses the rest of the dye to make his coffee. Also, I'm pretty sure that barista's seeing one of the couriers we use. They're always bickering like an old married couple whenever she's here for delivery. Looks like you have some competition." You see? The other colleagues at Abstergo think they're a couple. They all can see what I could see. Jennifer replies, "Challenge accepted." Jennifer then says, "Things are getting weird. I looked outside and one of those window washer platforms was moving by itself. No one was on it. Vegetarian? I'm sorry, have we met? I'm having a passionate love affair with steak. But if we go out for lunch, I can see Shaun at the cafe and try to woo him away from that courier. Luckily for me, that green and orange jumpsuit makes her look fat. Shut the fuck up, Jennifer. How about you? I want to see what you look like, Jennifer Tom. Then there's like a long kind of period where Jennifer disappears and Philippe is really scared because weird things are happening and people are disappearing from the office, so he thinks that Jennifer's been like unpersoned. But then she replies finally on the 21st of November saying this. I'm here, I'm okay. Well, sort of okay. I got sick from Sean's coffee and had to take a couple of days off. Needless to say, I'm officially over that poisoning motherfucker. I'm gonna get him fired. But man, what kind of Orwellian nightmare did I come back to? I'm sorry, but this shit is canon if I've ever seen it. Everyone stop replying to my Tumblr post saying that you think their marriage came out of nowhere. This was 2013 and it was so canon as hell. But yeah, luckily for Rebecca, Jennifer decided to exit the competition after she got food poisoning from Sean's horrendous coffee. In the last scene between Sean and Rebecca at Abstergo Entertainment, we don't see them, but we do hear them, and they are idiots.
And, well, what now?
Talk, you idiot! Look at the light!
Isn't that the battery? I think that's the battery. Hello? Hello? Look, sorry about this. My name is Shaun, and back there is Rebecca, my partner in crime.
Hello!
Bloody good work earlier, honestly, I mean it, delivering us all that data. It's really just too bad that our man on the inside was such a, how to put it? Fanatic. Fanatic is the best word, I suppose.
We take who we can get.
Exactly. Well put. We saw in John an opportunity to burrow deeper into Abstergo's cloud servers, and I'm not ashamed to say we took it. Not realizing, of course, that he was enlisting you to help him. And to blame, should anything go wrong. I suppose it all worked out very nicely in the end. Most of it, anyway.
What Shaun really wants to say is, if you're up for more hacking, we are too. John gave you level 3 security clearance before you died. You should use it. The assassins don't have the resources to pay you like the Templars do, but we'll make it worth your while.
Look, we should really cut it short, Bex. 20 seconds.
All right. Good luck.
Cheers, mate. And top-notch work. Really top. Give yourself a pat on the back. And happy hacking.
Okay, so a few things here. My partner in crime, Shaun, I heard you. You just said partner and then corrected yourself because you're a dummy. She's your partner. We know, I know, you know, Bill knows, Noob knows, Alan Rickon probably knows at this point. This is also the first time in the entire series that we hear Rebecca referred to as Bex, and it came from Shaun, which means two things. Well, one, certainly. It means that they're now close enough that Shaun uses a nickname for her, whereas previously he only ever called her Rebecca. And two, it could also mean that Shaun started the Bex nickname. Once in Brotherhood, Lucy calls her Becca, but never Bex. So maybe Shaun started the trend and the rest of the assassins caught on. It's canon in this house. They're in love. AC4 confirmed it, and I ran with it for the next 7 years before Valhalla finally confirmed it beyond a reasonable doubt. But look at the evidence. It's right here. On the 2nd of December, Rebecca texts Gavin to tell him that they're going to be leaving Montreal. She says the bad news is due to unforeseen complications. That's an understatement. Our original mole inside of Abstergo Entertainment died. Don't worry, nothing traces back to us. The good news is we have a new mole who's giving us unparalleled access to Abstergo's cloud servers. And she says, we feel it's time to get out of Montreal and lay low while we assess the new data we're receiving and plan our next move. We feel, while we lay low, while we assess the data, while we plan our new move. They are stuck together. The next time that we see Shaun and Bex is the 1st of May 2014 when Gavin's team tracked Bill Miles down to a bunker in Norway where Shaun and Rebecca are also working. Fun fact, I can actually read this one in my own accent because this character is Scottish. If William Miles was surprised to see Gavin arrive at his secret bunker, he didn't show it. There was no handshake, no hug, nothing to suggest that these two have been friends fighting together for years. We need to talk to Bill, Gavin said. Shaun Hastings and Rebecca Crane were much happier to see us and tried to break the ice, but Gavin would have none of it. You two are next on my shit list. Emma immediately pulled Rebecca aside to start tinkering with their Hephaestus phones, and I suspect enjoy some recreational marijuana. The core members of the Brotherhood are all here. I'm going to plant some bugs around the compound to see if I can pick up anything of interest. This is a tremendous opportunity for us, but I wonder what the future holds for them. I remain your humble spy. The core members of the modern day Brotherhood. Bear that in mind. Bill, Gavin, Shaun, and Rebecca. The core members. Which also gets confirmed in Rogue. These two are like so high up in the Brotherhood now, it's crazy. Especially because, like, to start with, they just seemed like they were two kind of smart people that did stuff. But now it's like core. The LCR2 stayed at the bunker for the rest of the month, whilst Rebecca investigated a secret network operating from the ship after she discovered it during maintenance on the 5th of May. Rebecca came aboard the ship to perform maintenance on our computer systems. She helped install them, after all, before she left for Montreal and went to Japan. Everything seemed fine until... What is with the commas in this? Everything seemed fine until she called us all together to make a rather startling announcement. Someone on your ship is a spy, she said. I found a series of coded messages being sent to something called the Initiates database. They've been sent pretty regularly over the past couple of years. Ring any bells? What the hell is an initiate? Asked Gavin. I'm going to have to lay low for a bit, but the bugs I've planted around the bunker should automatically relay everything they pick up to the database. I think your humble spy may be in trouble here. For the rest of the month, it's all Bill, like, interrogating the various people on the ship, and the next time these two appear is on the 30th of May when Shaun and Rebecca have a conversation with the culprits, Eric Cooper and Stephanie Chew. You guys, these initiates are incredible. They're using a series of small satellites to create a network that can transmit data to anywhere in the world. They made an outer net. I'm not going to attempt Stephanie Chew's accent. We believe that this information is a basic human right. The network keeps you outside of this network keeps you outside of the internet controlled by corporations and governments. Why are your satellites not detected by anyone? Say Abstergo satellites. Are you aware of just how much rubbish is floating above us? To borrow one of your lessons, we're hidden in plain sight. It's very impressive, but if you're just a bunch of industrious nerds, who pays for it all? Who's in charge? We're funded by all kinds of private citizens. We have military connections, people at Harvard and MIT, even an eccentric billionaire or two. As for who's running the show, we don't have leaders in the sense that you have a mentor. We take directions from 4 individuals, but up until now, they've mostly just guided our research. No one knows who these 4 are. We hear rumours that they created the initiates and the database, but no one knows for sure. It's freaking beautiful. It reminds me of what we used to have before the Great Purge. I never thought I'd see something like this again. Honestly though, if you lot were tracking our movements all this time, couldn't you have stepped in? Our only goal was gathering knowledge. We made vows to stay neutral. That's all well and good, but some of us might still be alive today if you'd been a little less neutral. On the 6th of June, Bill tasked Shaun and Bex to take charge of the initiates and rally them to their cause. Bill says, we'll find and lead ones who will get their hands bloody. We won't be in charge of the initiates. And Gavin says, but Shaun and Rebecca will. And Bill says, I'm an old man with old ideas and old ways of doing things. They've more than proven themselves. Let's see how they can rally those initiates to our cause. And on the 16th of June, Shaun sent a message to the initiates asking them to join the assassins. My name is Shaun Hastings. I know you're out there, watching us. Bravo, but that's really all you do, isn't it? Watch. Don't you think it's time to do more? You've proven your potential. Why not dedicate it to a true cause? With you on our side, we can hope to rebuild the Brotherhood. Otherwise, the assassins will die, along with our ideals. The Templars will win, and the world will lose. Big challenges are ahead of us. United, we stand a better chance of tipping the scales. Then, the Initiates network will return stronger, in one form or another, to mark the beginning of your training. Stay alert, Initiates. That didn't last long, though, because Bishop turned up not long later and stole the Initiates from them. So, yeah. On the 13th of October 2014, Shaun infiltrated an Abstergo facility in Paris, but there's no Rebecca, so we move on. There's content in there for the few Shaun and Galena shippers out there, but that's none of my business. Shaun and Rebecca aren't in Assassin's Creed Rogue, but they are mentioned a couple of times, and we even have a file dedicated to them in the Sigma team's most wanted dossier of Numbskull's files, which includes one of my favourite lines about them.
Shaun Hastings was a university professor whose hobby was leaking Abstergo secrets. He was hours away from being killed by Abstergo when he was saved by Rebecca Crane, an assassin hacker. Since then, the pair have been inseparable, providing technical support for assassin field agents. Hastings and Crane infiltrated Abstergo Entertainment Montreal in late 2013, and were responsible for the theft of classified information. It is unclear if they planted the virus currently affecting the Helix servers, or if they merely left the door open for other hackers to exploit. Rebecca Crane's skills are not to be underestimated. She created the Animus 2.0, an assassin version of Warren Viddick's original machine. It appears that she was also largely responsible for establishing a new, more secure assassin network. It would seem Crane and Hastings have been promoted within the Brotherhood. There are rumors that they are now leading some kind of hacker collective known as the Initiates, and attempting to lure them to the assassin side.
Since then, the pair have been inseparable. Now, someone wrote this line into the game that came out on the same day as the only game in the entire series to feature Shaun, but not Rebecca. Unity writers, when I find you. Anyway, back to the file. I love that even the Templars have picked up on how close these two are and consider them such a significant threat that they are now on the most wanted list. Also, Otzelberg ships it. You can't convince me otherwise. The next time we see Shaun is in Unity, but Rebecca isn't in that game, so it's kind of irrelevant. I have this personal headcanon that Rebecca was there until like moments before the game started, but she kept singing Les Mis songs, so Shaun locked her out of the office and wouldn't let her back in. That's why he makes a Les Mis article in the database just to go on a rant about how much he hears people singing, "Do you hear the people sing?" So I think she's there the entire time, she's just locked in the next room. It keeps me sane to think that. Finally, some good fucking food, because it's time for Syndicate, which has some of the most significant Shaun and Rebecca content of the entire series. It's the 23rd of October 2015, and Shaun and Rebecca have infiltrated the office of Templar Inner Sanctum member Isabelle Ardant in London. In London?
I've got people in London looking for it.
Hey, Bishop! Jacob and Evie Fry are twins. How awesome is that?
Speak of the devil. Fire up your cameras, Bex. I've got picture. ETA on the payload?
Sending it now.
A lot to sift through. I'm gonna get the initiates on it ASAP.
You look weird with a weapon.
Let's plant a little bug and see what we can see.
Got something.
Isabelle Ardant has a meeting here in a few hours.
Doesn't say with who.
Doesn't say with whom, Rebecca. I suppose it's down to Muggins here to find out.
Hold on. The mission was to find data to locate a piece of Eden in London.
We did.
And now, I am eager to try this new kit.
I don't like it when those two go off book like this. Well, all we can do is take a deep breath and move forward.
By now, we can see that these two have taken it upon themselves to do whatever the hell they want, whether it's in their mission orders or not. I love that for them. They're also being very classic Shaun and Rebecca here. Shaun corrects Rebecca and then tries to seem macho, and she rolls his eyes at him and looks disappointed. And also, notice the comments that Rebecca has coded into her cameras. It detects Shaun as assassin, historian, and smartass. She's hilarious. Once we open up the database in-game, we find entries on Shaun and Rebecca, both written by Shaun, but with edits made by Rebecca. In Shaun's entry, he opens by saying he will never reveal his birth date. He then goes on to relay the story of how he tried to expose Abstergo, and in return, they sent a death squad after him. Rebecca interjects with, translation, Shaun found a millennia-old conspiracy that reached the highest levels of power imaginable and thought the best idea ever would be to shout and wave at it. Shaun then states that he was saved by the technological witchcraft of one Rebecca Crane. She brought me into the Assassins, and I've been here improving their lives, making entertaining chit-chat and boosting morale ever since. And Rebecca adds, translation, all I do for the Assassins is build shit and save Shaun's life. Bear this in mind because we will come back to it. In Rebecca's article, Shaun opens by saying, one key reason Rebecca is so great is that she traded a life of extreme sports for a life of intellectual pursuits, which is the second time that he's called her great in the series. He goes on to say, Rebecca might have been an Olympian if it weren't for her deep love of comical cigarettes and doobies, apologies for the technical jargon there, and a nasty broken leg, no doubt obtained by doing something utterly Crane-like, like falling out of a helicopter into an avalanche, or trying to drive a jet ski through a tornado while eating a tofu burger. He goes on to talk a bit about her making the animas, and then says, did I mention she enjoys recreational substances? At which point, Rebecca interjects with, don't sass me, you can't even make a cup of fucking coffee. Shaun continues, Bex swears too much, has a very easygoing nature, but she's lost friends along the way. Clay, Lucy, Desmond. Assassins rarely retire, if you know what I mean. But she's never once thought about giving up, and I'm proud to say that she's my very best friend in the world. Which Rebecca edits with, aww, and then a love heart. And I died. When I read this the first time, I think my heart almost burst. And yes, I hear you. Doesn't that confirm that they're still platonic at this stage if he's calling her his best friend? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. She sent him a love heart, didn't she? It's up for interpretation. The point is, this is the closest we've seen them so far, with Shaun calling her his very best friend. They aren't just colleagues or work partners, they really are inseparable. Their bond is much stronger than what we saw 3 years ago in universe time in 2012. And also, isn't your partner your very best friend? You know, if you've got a wife, is she not your very best friend? Think about it. Of course, though, Shaun has to immediately course correct his rare moment of vulnerability with this. However, she's bloody annoying and a vegetarian, so you can imagine how easy that makes finding food while we're on assignment. Death could be upon us at any minute, but oh dear, we must always procure bits of tree in order to sustain Rebecca. And you ruined it. Here's your punishment. Shaun's birthday is the 16th of November 1985. Not cool, Bex. And I happen to think I look quite good for my age. Once again, throughout this article, Shaun refers to Rebecca as Bex, the name that he gave her, probably, back in Black Flag. In Alexander Graham Bell's database article, of all places, Shaun makes a comment about Rebecca. He says that because Alexander Graham Bell's mother was deaf, his father developed a phonetic alphabet aimed at teaching the deaf to speak, while Alec himself learned to communicate with his mother by speaking into the side of her head so she could feel the vibrations of his voice. Rebecca does something similar whenever I try to block her out. In Violet DaCosta's database article, Shaun opens with, it's tempting to say that Violet DaCosta is an evil version of Rebecca Crane, but then that assumes you haven't spent much time with Rebecca Crane. Which Rebecca replies with, I'm armed. In Bishop's article, Shaun talks about how no one knows who Bishop really is, but that Rebecca has said that she does know, but she can't tell him. Rebecca adds that she pinky swore. Back in the outside world, Shaun and Rebecca are planting explosives at Bell's office when Sigma team arrive.
Call Dr. Grammatica.
Come on. Where's Bell? What a lovely surprise.
Our mutual friends will be here shortly to search for the artifact. Once it's located, I'll let you know.
Super. Always a pleasure.
Prick.
It's people like you that give historians a bad name.
I'm afraid I don't have time for you today, Mr. Hastings.
Thank you for making my job easy.
Oh, shit.
It does look grim.
Master Berg, Agent Acosta. Deal with them, please. Move it! Hunt them down!
Do you see how they look at each other? Like, do you see? I'm unwell. When we next see them, Shaun is a bit bashed up from the jumping through the window business, but he tries to downplay it. Rebecca's trying to tend to his wounds, and when he flinches, she grabs his face and holds it while she dabs at the cut, and I exploded. You should have put me in Isabel's office. I would have done damage.
Thank God you're all right.
Oh, tish tosh. It'll take more than a Templar super soldier to end the glorious saga of Shaun Danger Hastings.
I was talking to Rebecca.
Right. Anyway, Berg's presence confirms it. The Peace of Eden is in London.
The Initiate's data sync suggests it's the Shroud.
The Templars seem to want it pretty bad all of a sudden. They must know something we don't.
The only thing we know is that we can't go up against Sigma Team alone.
Leave that to me. In the meantime, keep a low profile. Let the Initiate continue to sync the data.
We don't get a lot of physical contact between these two in the entire series, so I take what I can get. And I actually used to have this picture on my pin board at home. Look, I was like 19, leave me alone. In the next cutscene, Rebecca's asleep in a sleeping bag on top of a wooden pallet.
Wooden pallets! Wooden pallets! Wooden pallets! Wooden pallets!
You okay?
Apart from the death squad on our tail, apart from that.
Backup's on the way. Why are you pushing yourself so hard?
We can see that there's an empty sleeping bag next to her. Now, I know they have to sleep in shifts, but I think it's telling that they put their sleeping bags together rather than sleeping in like separate parts of the hideout. I mean, maybe sometimes they just lie awake in the sleeping bag. I don't know. And besides, Galena turns up and takes watch so Shaun can sleep, meaning he now has the perfect opportunity to cozy up to Rebecca. Shout out to Bex for sleeping in her beanie hat, by the way. God forbid Ubisoft alter her character model. In a brief clip, Rebecca says that she agrees with Shaun, which is a turn up for the record book, so I had to include it.
The Peace of Eden is under Buckingham Palace. We've got all we need. Let's start planning our infiltration.
Hold on, better to get visual verification. If we're gonna move, we need to be 100% sure. We'll only get one shot before Otso Berg crashes down on us.
Gotta agree with Shaun.
We'll position ourselves near the palace, but we'll wait for you to sync the genetic data before we move.
It's all up to you, Initiate.
Before I get into the finale of this game, I want to show you some Shaun and Rebecca dialogue, which was cut from the final release, and I'll always be pissed off about it because it's hilarious.
Hello. Hi. Shaun Hastings here. Just popping in a moment to remind you that you have got a rare opportunity here to really live the past. You know? The sights, sounds, the smells, the tastes. And, you know, on the subject of taste, I can't help noticing that you have wandered into a pub. Ah, pubs, eh? Did you know Victorian London was home to almost 4,000 pubs? Well, it was. And most of those pubs brewed their own beer. Actually, I've just had a little thought. If you were to, say, I don't know, sample your ancestors' memories of some lovely beverages, then Rebecca could always, you know, process those DNA strings and make them available to other users. Purely, you know, for archival purposes, of course.
What he's saying is he wants you to drink old booze and email the taste sensation to him. And somehow he's roped me into helping him do it.
This is a legitimate historical inquiry.
Hey, if you want a digital baby birding from the recruit, I'm not gonna stop you. In fact, I'd rather not get anywhere near that.
Yeah, all right, yeah, lovely. Ignore her. Drink beer. For history.
Genuinely one of my favorite moments from them, and it didn't make the game. Mark Alexis Cote, When I Find You. In the final cutscene of the game, Shaun, Bex, and Galena infiltrate the vault under Buckingham Palace, but Sign's team are already there. Shaun and Rebecca are hiding behind a pole, and Rebecca is crouching at Shaun's feet. The fight ensues. Shaun manages to grab the shroud, but Violet notices and raises her gun at him. Rebecca jumps to push him out the way and ends up taking the bullet herself. Shaun and Rebecca land on the floor, and Shaun pulls Rebecca onto his lap and holds her head. Galena's still fighting while Shaun cradles Rebecca. He yells to Galena that they need to go, and she clears an exit. Rebecca tries to get Shaun to go after the shroud, but he won't listen and begs her to stay with him, and Galena tells them it's time to go.
That's it. It's under the palace.
Time to go!
Let's get the shroud to Dr. Grammatica immediately.
Sigma team beat us here. We're too late.
What do we do?
Killing really is the least productive way to achieve our goals. Kill them all.
Leave them underground.
Contact!
Cover me! That skinny piece of shit tried to murder me, Berg. I want him to bleed.
Dreams that poisoned us, them that told us lies of their bravery, them that preached of progress and put us in the poorhouse. Them done the horrid murder on bloody stages that loudly corrode their humility, lords and dames, chapels on a summer. All quiet now, their mouths are stopped up.
Hold still, goddammit!
Only the mission matters!
Understood!
Those who fought
Shaun!
for something better, those who taught by how they live, loved ones taken long before there were underground.
Galena, we need an exit!
Secure the vault! All targets are righteous!
We need to go! Now!
Understood.
Shroud!
Forget the bloody shroud! Stay with me, Bex. Please!
We go.
Unwell. So, funny anecdote. Well, not really funny, haha, but like, so the week that Syndicate released was also the week that my beloved dog was in the pet hospital getting a pretty large cancerous tumor really removed. And I was terrified, obviously, because he would die if he didn't have the surgery, but there was also a, not small risk that he would die in the surgery. So it was a pretty hellish week for me. But thankfully he survived and he came home and everything was great. So I was really happy, obviously. I was like thrilled that my dog had survived this horrible surgery. And I was like, good, all the stuff I've been worrying about is over. I can be happy now. And then 2 days later, I saw Rebecca get fucking shot. And I was like, is nothing sacred in this world? Am I not allowed to be happy for like 2 days? I was in a really bad place. And that was just, this was the last thing I needed. Anyway, point is, Rebecca took a bullet for Shaun. Now remember, I saved his ass multiple times. Should have dropped him and let Abstergo have their way. And all I do for the assassins is build shit and save Shaun's life. And here she is again, saving his life. Except this time, she's at risk of losing hers in the process. Despite Sigma Team still being in the room and them having the piece of Eden, Shaun refuses to move. In fact, all he cares about is getting Rebecca out of there. He tells Galena they have to go. Forget the bloody shroud. He literally does not give a shit about the mission at this point. Rebecca is more important to him than any of that. And bearing in mind that's not really the assassin way to choose a person over the mission. I mean, look at Bill Miles and the way that he treated Desmond for most of the time. Look at how the Brotherhood treated Clay and Lucy. People are expendable to the assassins as long as you die doing your duty. The mission is everything. But not for Shaun. Not when that person is Rebecca. In the Jack the Ripper DLC, Eric sends an email and he mentions at the end that they pulled the group out of London but that Rebecca was not in good shape. He says, "Any updates on Shaun and Rebecca? She wasn't looking so great when we extracted them from London." Ubisoft, being the modern day haters that they are, then decided the best thing to do was drop Shaun and Rebecca for years, leaving us with no information on her condition. Finally, Rebecca returned in a rare transmedia appearance in The Last Descendants Tomb of the Can novel, where she assists the teen Animus crew temporarily. On finding out that they have a friend called Shaun, she asks if he is a cynical egotist who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. And when they say no, she says it can't be the same person. She says that Shaun is in Madrid, which ties into the AC movie, which Shaun was technically in, but you can barely see him. That's a long story. Go ask Danny Wallace about it. Speaking of rare transmedia appearances, and no, I'm not talking about the Shaun AI. I will never be talking about the Shaun AI. In fact, I would like to forget that the Shaun AI ever existed. Thank you very much. If you don't know what I'm referring to, go and listen to Assassin's Creed Gold. It's actually a pretty good audiobook with some really good performances in it. Anthony Head is there. But yeah, I'll never forgive them for Shaun AI. No, I'm referring to the next transmedia appearance, which was not AI, which was actually the Brotherhood of Venice tabletop RPG, specifically the Tokyo XXI expansion pack, which I have right here. I don't even own the Brotherhood of Venice base game, so I can't even play with this. I just bought it because I need every piece of Shaun and Rebecca content that I can get my hands on. And this pack comes with little figurines of Shaun and Rebecca, as well as like a bunch of cards that have them on them. I actually bought this secondhand from a man. I don't remember exactly. It was a Scandinavian country, but I can't remember which one. I want to say it was Sweden, but it might not have been. Um, it was off of a board game buy and sell website that I'd never even heard of before, and he was the only person I could find on the entire internet that was selling a copy of this. Like with the box. Like some people were selling the cards and stuff, but like I wanted the full set. And yeah, so I got it off of a lovely man somewhere in Scandinavia who very kindly let me buy it and shipped it to the UK for me. I was in the trenches trying to get my hands on this, but it was worth it because it's beautiful. And look, my girl is even on the box. It's upside down. My girl is on the box. Look at her. And I got to add the figurines and the cards to my Shaun and Rebecca shrine, which is something that I actually have. Um, so yeah, I was absolutely thrilled when I finally managed because it was a full-time job trying to track down a copy of that game, and I got it. Expansion is set in early 2020 and sees Shaun, Rebecca, Leil Hassan, and Kiyoshi Takakura infiltrating an Abstergo facility in Tokyo, where the Templars are carrying out experiments on unwilling subjects, using the Staves of Eden to turn them into super soldiers. There isn't actually like any dialogue or anything in this, so there's nothing for us to analyze for this video. I just thought it was important that everyone knows like that they were doing something during this time. They were included. It might not be an analysis of their relationship, it's just good to know what they were up to. Okay, moving on. Shaun and Rebecca make their grand return to the games in Assassin's Creed Valhalla in November 2020. In the first modern day cutscene, we get this.
mint tea is not actually tea, Bex. It's an infusion. It's really just dirty, minty water.
I don't care what you call it, Shaun. Did you buy any?
Of course I did, love.
Hey.
Love? 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 Yeah, the first time I heard that, I lost my mind. Now, I know Shaun is English, and it's a common term of endearment here to call people love, so I tried not to get too excited prematurely. But I mean, come on, he called her love! This has never happened before. Also, ever since this scene, I haven't been able to look at peppermint tea the same way, so thanks, Shaun, thanks for that. Their role in this game is to assist Layla Hassan in exploring the memories of Eivor Vadensdottir, basically doing what they did for Desmond, and her situation is similar to Desmond's in more ways than one. In the previous game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Layla became angry whilst holding a Staff of Eden and she swung it, accidentally killing her friend Victoria Bibot in the process. It's not like a nice thing, but it is unfortunately incredibly funny to watch the way that Victoria ragdolls across the room. I'm sorry. Understandably, very few people wanted to work with Layla after that, and as such, Bill sent Layla to Shaun and Rebecca, knowing that, as Shaun says, they've seen this sort of thing before, which they have when Desmond killed Lucy. Even so, neither of them fully trust Layla, and she has to wear this mood stabilizer on her neck to ensure that she doesn't lash out and murder either of them. Rebecca's actually more judgmental of Layla than Shaun, in a total role reversal when you compare it to what they were like at the beginning with Desmond. But I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, how many friends has Rebecca lost at this point? We know that she lost Clay, Desmond, Lucy. She also lost her friend Hannah, and we can infer from an Assassin's Creed comic that she was also the one who taught Cody Adams how to build an animus. And Cody also died. So she's lost a lot of friends at this point, and she almost died herself a few years ago. And of course, the stakes are higher now. If Layla attacks, it's not just going to be a friend that she loses. And we'll find out why very, very soon. And now here's just a small clip of Shaun and Bex clearly thinking that Layla is insane and wondering what they're doing with their lives.
Layla, you okay?
Sorry. Can you play the message again?
We have the transcript. If you're looking for something, I can
No,
go and...
I want to hear it.
Okay.
I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just... that message led us here. To this place. To a Norse grave in North America. So those bones out there are the only lead we have. Our only chance at fixing this planet before it's too late.
Here it is.
I lived, I died, and now I sleep. And in my sleep I dream. And in my dreams, I see an end to the doom that will grip the earth once again. Find the wolf-kissed. Find the mad one. Find me. And save us all from another death.
Unsettling, that is.
During the game, Layla explores these anemones. During the game, Layla explores these anomalies and the Animus, and she chats with Shaun and Rebecca as she does so. And in Anomaly 3, Shaun talks to and about Rebecca.
Hey Bex, Layla's back. I can see her here. Blipping and bleeping on your monitor. Layla, hey. Bex is fiddling with the back end, trying to get a fix on you.
No luck?
No luck. But she did show me how to decrypt your data packets. I just click a button when you've grabbed the data bits.
Shaun, please, I don't need to know about Rebecca fiddling with the back end. But in Anomaly 5, Layla's running around when Shaun drops the bombshell of the century.
Bex, any progress?
Nothing yet. Whoever put these here made a surgical incision into our server. They dumped this data and backed out before anyone noticed.
Oddly enough, that's how Rebecca describes our wedding night. Which I find rude.
Hastings, get off the mic.
Wedding night? Wedding night? When I watched this clip on my phone, because fuck waiting for the modern day content in a 100+ hour game, I was not doing that. As soon as went up on YouTube, I was watching it. I accidentally threw my phone across the room in surprise. Like, I launched it like it was on fire. Like, I literally had the phone in my hand and just was like, and just like chucked it across the room and screamed. And then like picked it up and watched it like 10 more times, just rewinding and rewatching it in case I'd like gone delusional and had imagined it. And then I text my best friend to tell him. They got married. They're in love and they got married, and no one can take that away from me now. Doesn't matter what anyone says, Darby McDevitt walked into that writer's room and said, I've had enough of this. They're married now, and I can die happy. He knew. He was like, I've been putting up with you dancing around this for years. I want my ship to be canon, and I can do that because I'm the writer. And I was like, thank the Lord. We needed it. We needed it. Shaun and Rebecca becoming canon saved 2020. They actually ended the pandemic through the power of love. Like, you notice how the restrictions started to ease around November of 2020, just around the same time the game released? Exactly. Shaun and Rebecca saved us from COVID. And then there's this. In the database article for the Hidden Ones Bureau, Shaun is, talking, explaining the history of the Hidden Ones Bureaus through the Roman Empire and blah, 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 something about Emperor Claudius. And then it says, today, my hidden bureau is an office that I share with Bex and our washer and dryer. It works all right, but we may be turning it into a baby room if all goes well. Are you hearing this? They want to have kids. Train Hastings' children. Shaun is willing to pollute his bloodline by procreating with an American. Like, are you hearing this? This is huge. Again, when I heard that, I almost threw up. I was just like, this is the thing, is it's like I've been shipping this since I first started playing Assassin's Creed in like 2011, thinking that I was never going to get anywhere. And then all of a sudden they're married and they want to have kids at me out of the clear blue sky. And I was like, I was so unprepared for this information that I think I blacked out. And I was like, I need someone else to corroborate that I'm actually seeing this and that I haven't actually entered a hallucinogenic state. Anyway, by the way, if you want to know what their kids would look like, I made them a family in The Sims 4, so here you go. Towards the end of the game, the pair figure out what's going on with the whole son thing and decide to tell Layla all about their history with Desmond.
Steady, Layla.
Were you watching my feed? What the hell was all that?
I think that was the solution to our problem.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Desmond.
Desmond? What about him?
He was just a bartender before he joined us. Not even a very good one. And that's when he learned his real purpose. He was like I don't know, like a singularity, you know? A vanishing point. All of human history seemed to converge on him.
In 2012, the sun threw off a mass coronal ejection so large, it should have wrecked all life on Earth.
I remember. I worked at Abstergo then.
It was Desmond who saved us. He knew how to stop it.
Abstergo claimed credit for that. Something about their satellite network.
That's bullshit. It was Desmond. He pulled the switch that saved the world.
But that switch is still on. Still generating a magnetic field. One that's growing stronger every day.
The temple Eivor found. That's where the field originates.
Exactly. And it's been running for 8 years. Getting stronger and stronger. It'll be dangerous now. Heat, radiation.
Doesn't matter. We have to fix it. Shut it down.
No. Slow it down. It's still protecting us.
All of this is starting to make sense. Everything I've done, everything I've learned, it led me here to this moment.
You'll need the staff for this one. For protection. Otherwise, you won't make it past the first gate.
Right, of course. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'll pack the van.
And I'll contact our ship. It can be in Boston Harbor by tomorrow night.
I wish there was like more. I wish they were like touching or something, but I get that they're trying to be professional or whatever. But I'm like, can you guys like look a bit more married, please? But they're sitting together on a log, so whatever, it's cute. And then at the very end, we see them facing off against Bassam, looking extremely uncomfortable before they leave together to go find Bill Miles.
Shaun, Bex, I had a choice. And I chose to stay. You'll wonder where I am. You might wonder if I am. I don't know how to answer that. But I'm not afraid. And I'm not alone. We have work to do. Work that may take us days or years. It's impossible to say. But we'll finish it. What I mean is, don't come looking for me. It's too dangerous and too late. Take care of yourself. Take care of the world we still have. And take care of...
You see, she's fine. In a manner of speaking.
A manner of speaking. Jesus, we have to find her.
You heard her. She doesn't want to be rescued.
Bullshit.
In any case, there's nothing left to save. Not after this long.
Because of you. You left her there.
This is all a bit much. I know. I'm in the same situation.
No. You're in a class all your own, man.
We're assassins now, not hidden ones.
From the Arabic, Hashishin.
Ah. And do we have a mentor? Is that still the practice?
We do.
Name?
William Miles.
William Miles. I'd like to meet William Miles. Would you bring him to me?
We can call him. Encrypted line. You can talk to him right now.
No technology. Face to face. A meeting of minds. It's time to take the fight to these Templars, as you call them. I won't go anywhere, my friends. Your animus is in good hands.
How much do you know?
My dear, we invented such things long, long before you did. I'll figure it out.
I see the glances that they're sending at each other, but I would love to know what happened when they walked out of there, because I imagine they had some words. There's a really funny meme that goes around, someone on Tumblr made it, where Vincent says something on the lines of like, I have whimsy, and Rebecca looks at him and goes, "You got something much more sinister going on." It's like the most accurate summary of that scene. But yeah, once again, the curse of being teamed up with Shaun and Rebecca claims another life. I'm amazed that Galena and Bill are both still alive, or anyone from the Altair 2 for that matter, because it seems if you share the same vicinity as Shaun and Rebecca, you will die. Shaun and Rebecca's most recent appearance in the franchise is in AC Nexus, the VR title. And to say I was surprised by this is an understatement. There's actually a video of me reacting to this news on my YouTube channel because I was completely stunned. I didn't even expect Nexus to have any modern day because I kind of figured by this point they were already kind of phasing the modern day out. This is 2023 by this point. And we already knew that they were talking about like the Animus hub and stuff because they'd started talking about that in 2022. So I was like, oh, the modern day is dead. Like, we're never going to see these two again. So when I heard that Nexus had modern day, I didn't know Shaun and Rebecca were in it. I just knew that I saw a post saying that Marina Baccarin was in Nexus as this new Abstergo character, and I was like, Abstergo? Like, we're actually seeing like Abstergo stuff? So I went online and got someone's like stream up to see what was going on, and I nearly choked when I heard Sean's voice come out because I had no idea that they were in it. And I'm going to need a new phone if they keep doing this to me. If they randomly turn up in one of the future games, Resynced, Hexy, whatever, I'm going to break my phone. They need to stop doing this to me. Anyway, here's the first scene.
That'll do.
Ah, hello there. Thanks for taking our call. I'm Shaun, and this is Rebecca.
We're your Brotherhood contacts for this op.
What's the job?
Straight to the point. I like that. Bex?
Our intelligence indicates Abstergo is developing a new profiling technology that goes way beyond anything seen before.
Over the years, they've collected and archived the memories of countless individuals, politicians, generals, even normal people like you and me.
I don't think I'd call you normal, Shaun.
Very funny, but the point is, imagine if your own memories could be analysed to understand how you think, to learn about your values and beliefs, and to know what to show or tell you online or in person, to slowly replace those beliefs with a set of new ones. Templar beliefs.
So where do I come in?
The executive in charge of this initiative, Dominica Wilk, needs someone with your skills to finish the project, but she doesn't know you're working for us, or that you're gonna shut her operation down for good.
But more on that later. For now, we'll piggyback on your connection, so we'll be there when you need us. You'll have to switch over from our network to Abstergo's, then you're off to your first meeting with your new boss. Huh. What have we here?
Our friend is one step ahead of us. That will sever their connection to our virtual space when they connect to Abstergo and Dominica, and let us listen in on their conversations safely.
We're so back. This is AC2 banter, and I ate it up. I'm living for it. Later, Rebecca asks the hacker to connect back to their secure environment and offers the player advice on how to complete the puzzle. Rebecca, the grown-ups are talking. This is just, it's so classic them. I was like, this like changed my whole life because I just felt like we didn't really get this kind of banter with them in Valhalla. It felt like they were a bit more serious than they usually are. And so when I saw this and it was just so the them that I've always known, it brought me so much joy because I was just like, this is the Shaun and Rebecca that I know. This is the Shaun and Rebecca that I thought had been lost to the sauce, but they're back. We see Shaun and Rebecca in this virtual environment, but they're not physically there because it's all like VR. Like the idea is that the character you're playing as is also in like a VR environment. So they aren't physically in the same room, but they're sort of like in a sort of virtual office. It's strange. It's hard to tell where they actually are in reality, because all we can see is a desk, and for some reason Sean's working on a tablet while standing up instead of sitting at a desk of his own. Is this the office that they share with the washer and dryer? Because if so, they maybe need to get a bigger space. Like, I get that these two are so codependent that they need to stay in the same room all the time, but bro, you need a chair at least. You're gonna get, like, spinal issues. You're gonna get sciatica. In other news, Rebecca's cut her hair again, and she looks very good.
Ooh, she'll be watching. Scary.
I thought she'd never leave.
You've heard what she had to say. Now remind me what you want from me.
Just what we hired you to do. Use your skills to help us stop them. Now before you dive into the past, let's have a quick brief. As Dominica said, you're going to be planting beacons and memories to try to zoom in on these fragments she's after.
But, thanks to you, we've got a little surprise for her. Now, this particular bit of code you whipped up is one of the neatest logic bombs I've ever seen. It's going to fit undetectably inside the beacons. Plant a beacon, and you'll be planting a bomb, too.
And when all the logic bombs have been placed, we'll trigger them, and they'll devour the memories you visited. Abstergo will no longer have access to their content.
Right, time to go. Enjoy the, Italian countryside. Have some pasta. And please be careful.
Genuinely, the art at the very beginning of this game of Shaun and Rebecca is like the nicest art I've seen of these two in years. Because I think we can all agree they looked like hell in Valhalla. That was one of the first things everyone said when that game came out, was like, what the fuck happened to Shaun and Rebecca's faces? And like, I agree, they look bad in Valhalla, but they were looking really good in the art in this game. The actual VR like sprites are not the strongest because this game was never supposed to be about graphics. But the art that's drawn of them at the start, they look amazing. Just put it up in the Louvre. I love it. The majority of the dialogue in this game is just them talking to the player about the missions, but it's really fun dialogue. They're both very snarky with each other and snarky with the player, and it's like it just feels like we're back on form for them. I think they're probably getting sick of being stuck with the newbies because like this keeps happening to them. They got stuck with Desmond, and then they got stuck with the noob Black Flag. They get stuck with the initiates. They get stuck with Layla. Although in fairness, she's not a noob by that point. But you know, they keep getting given these kind of slightly strange jobs, and I'm not surprised that they're starting to get pissed off about it. Especially because the hacker character in Nexus is kind of an asshole. They complain a lot. And yeah, it's not surprising. It's really nice to hear Shaun and Rebecca not really snarking with each other, but just collectively ganging up on a different character. It's like that bit in Scrubs where like Jordan and Dr. Cox team up on the doctor that botched Dr. Cox's vasectomy. Like one of my favorite things about them is when they would just team up to bully someone. And that's the vibe we're getting here. Mutual disdain from my faves.
What the hell? You two must have set off some kind of alarm.
Easy there, it's not over yet.
I'm tamping down our presence so she won't be able to find us no matter how hard she looks. If you could play nice, maybe it'll convince her this was a glitch.
If I play nice, what will you be doing?
I'll tell you what, we'll be countering whatever Dominica does to try to find us and analysing that thing that came after you.
Whatever they are, they look nasty.
Yes, indeed. Well said. So play nice with Dominica and don't get caught.
Just make sure you don't get me caught.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. Time to get back to work. It's back to Ezio in Italy. Last time you cleaned up Monteriggioni. This time, it looks like you're headed to Venice to chase after Ezio's family treasures.
Oh, lucky you. You get to see Carnivale. Bring me back something pretty. Oh, what an impassioned speech! So full of lofty ideals and glorious goals. What a load of bollocks.
And it's not as neat as Dominica makes it out to be. Think less order versus chaos and more control versus free will.
And we're on the side of free will, I take it?
Well, there's not a lot of room for hackers in Abstergo's rank-and-file utopia.
Dictators use the word control when they mean tyranny. They don't actually want to make the world better. They just want to remake it in their own image, and for everyone to bow to their vision.
Well, free will may not be perfect, but at least it's not bending the knee.
I take commissions, not orders.
Which is why we brought you in. This device that Dominica talks about could be the end of free will as we know it.
That's not a world I want to live in.
Me neither. So, let's get back to the task at hand. Planting the logic bombs so that Abstergo's twisted little future won't come to fruition.
Which means back to Connor. It's a bit later in his personal timeline, and his work in Boston is done for the moment.
So, now he's off to occupied Newport, Rhode Island, a city of spies under the British thumb. Be careful. And also, trust no one. Don't worry, we've got you.
You've got me? Took you long enough, she knows.
You have to trust us. We've done this before. We can protect you.
Speaking of which, Bex, do you have the camouflage algorithm
Is
ready,
that
please?
really gonna hide me from Dominica?
Is water wet? Of course it will.
Running the protocol now.
Easy for you to say. It's not your ass on the line.
Based on the beacons you've already planted, we've established where most of the remaining fragments are. We'll be sending you in after them so you can set the final logic bombs. No need to extract the data, just find the fragments, place the bombs, and go.
First up, the Battle of Venetia in ancient Greece. The Athenian Thrasybulus has made quite a comeback. Once an exile, now he's got an army, and you're on his side. Dominica will never suspect that's where, or when, you are. You can help me with this.
That depends. What's the problem?
Problem is that there are clearly 2 pieces missing from this thing, and I've only identified the rough location of one. The second one's a mystery. I'm guessing Dominica's tucked it away somewhere.
What Shaun's saying is that we haven't been able to figure out where the last fragment is. We do know it's not in an Ezio memory, or a Cassandra, or a Connor.
So then where the hell is it? I can't search the rest of the cloud.
Okay, don't you worry. We will find it. Dominica can't hide it from us forever.
As for you, it's back to Colonial Newport after your adventures with Barton. It's gonna be dangerous.
But you can handle dangerous, so get to handling. We'll handle this.
And there it is.
Listen up, nice work, no denying that, but there's no time to celebrate. I've located the last fragment. We missed it the first time. It was hidden in a minor Connor memory.
I wouldn't exactly call it minor now. Just drop the beacon for this memory and get ready.
Dominica's picking up the knack of finding you in the memories, so we're going to send you straight there.
Find the fragment. It shouldn't take you too long. And place the last logic bomb. Do that, and Dominica can go pound sand.
In the game's final mission, the hacker finds themselves in this unstable memory where the world is like falling apart around them. Rebecca tries to find ways to help the hacker, and Shaun, as usual, is like simping for her genius. I also enjoy him saying, "You heard her," to the hacker. Like, he's her bitch, and he's proud of it. He's like, "That there's my wife, and you're gonna listen to her because she's the best." Bro is so a wife guy at this point, and I love it for him.
What fresh hell is this?
It's like the memory's coming apart at the seams.
If the memory is destroyed while you're in it, I have no idea what could happen to you.
But it wouldn't be good. So, find the last fragment and plant the logic bomb before that happens.
I'm getting a read on the fragment near your location.
Ahead of you! On that ship!
Moving!
Abstergo security inbound. It's the Hunter Protocol!
You beat him!
Yes, but Dominica can create more of those things. So keep moving and get to that ship.
I'm on it.
Odds are she's gonna throw more hunters in your path.
Let's see if we can do something to help. Hey, Vex.
We can't do anything to the hunters directly, but maybe we can hack your avatar.
Don't get too crazy. It's me in here.
That's the spirit. We can't let them touch you. But let's see what we can do when you reach out and touch them.
I've got some ideas. Let me try and implement them.
Oh, that's classic. She's making it so that your weapons are particularly destructive to Hunter code. Just give her a minute.
Do I have a choice?
No, now keep moving.
Up you go.
Have you finished the weapons hack?
You worry about the climb, let us worry about that.
You heard her. The clock is ticking. You need to find the fragment before Dominica can scan it.
Got nowhere to go.
Hang on. We've got our hands in the code. We can build something for you.
There! Run for it!
Doesn't go all the way.
It will. Trust us. Now, get going.
Climb the mast. You're almost there.
For the love of God, keep moving!
I will destroy you for this. And not just you. Your friends in the Brotherhood, your hacking collective, everyone and everything you have ever held dear. You have no idea what you've unleashed.
Back in the secure environment office, John and Rebecca celebrate their win, and we get this adorable little moment.
Yes, that did it.
The targeted memories? Gone? And the fragments too?
Toast. The Nexus Eye will never exist.
Oh, brilliant. Bex, fantastic as always. And you? Oh, that was a hell of a job.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but you pulled it off.
You hired the best. Now let's talk about my payday. We agreed on...
So, like, Rebecca, like, grabs Sean's hand and, like, looks into his eyes, and then he squeezes her shoulders and tells her that she's fantastic. And I cried because that's about the most romantic scene we've ever had from the two of them. And it's kind of crazy when you consider, like, how obsessed I am with this couple. And, like, we've barely had one actual romantic moment in the entire series. Like, there's no kisses, not even a hug, never an I love you. But they don't really need it because, like, they're just so deeply in love and it's blatantly obvious that, like, I don't think we need them to be doing, like, what's the words? Like, proper, like, public displays of affection. Because, I mean, I'm on page 23 of this script at this point, and it's like, I've written 23 pages about how deeply these two are in love with each other without them ever actually doing anything romantic because they don't need to because it's all right there. The subtext is text with these two. Um, this adorable moment that I was having though, the happiness did not last long because Domenica, the Abstergo employee introduced in this game and played by Marina Baccarin, because apparently Ubisoft have budget for the VR game and absolutely nothing else. How the hell did they get Marina Baccarin? Where did they, how? Where, why? Why is she? I was completely baffled. I was like, what do you mean? My queen, my favorite character in Firefly, is in the Assassin's Creed VR game that no one played. Um, anyway, Marina Baccarin, Domenica, finally finds John and Rebecca's connection and tracks them down. And Domenica calls them arrogant idiots, which is really funny to me because they are. That is exactly what they are. But they're my arrogant idiots.
Hold on a minute. I'm getting some weird readings.
Oh shit, she traced us.
Did you really think I wouldn't find you? Arrogant idiots.
Oh, holy hell, we are screwed. Bex, get us out of here.
She knows where you are. Wipe everything and run. Now! They'll kill you!
Sean begs Bex to get them out of there, and the connection ends as Rebecca tells the hacker to wipe everything, or Domenica will kill them. And at the time of writing, that's the last we ever saw of Sean and Rebecca, which sounds really sinister. Like the last time we ever saw them was Rebecca running towards the camera and screaming, "She'll kill you." But to be fair, she does say, "She'll kill you," not "she'll kill us." I think Rebecca knew full well, like, Abstergo aren't going to be able to catch them. How long have they been on the run? And Abstergo, this is the thing that kills me, is that, like, Abstergo apparently have had them on their most wanted list for, like, a decade at this point, if not longer. And they cannot find them. Like, they can't do it. They can't catch them. So I don't think there's any chance in hell that they were actually in danger at the end of that game. I know it does seem as if it's left on a bit of a cliffhanger, like we don't know what happens, but there's pretty much a 0% chance that they actually got caught by Abstergo after that, which means that what they're up to now is anyone's guess. That was 2023, we're now in 2026, it's 3 years on and we have no idea where they are. My two faves are now in their 40s, and I don't know where they are. I would like to think that they would make an appearance in Assassin's Creed's new way of delivering the modern day, the Animus Hub. But I'm not really hopeful considering the way that they've used it so far. I'm sure eventually I'll make a video talking about that, but the Animus Hub has been so far really, really lackluster and also incredibly bare bones in actually delivering story content. Um, they've introduced like the foundations of what could be a decent story, but it has ground to a halt already, and we're only 1 year on uh from Shadows being released, and they've barely done anything with it. It sounds like they're going to be using it for Resynced, which comes out in July, but I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it. So I'm really not hopeful that we're going to see Shaun and Rebecca again. Um, but I did say that after Valhalla, I thought I would never see them again, and they turned up 3 years later in Nexus, the last place that I expected to see them. And Ubisoft did put out a survey recently asking the fans a whole bunch of quite kind of deep-rooted questions about like what we actually want out of Assassin's Creed. I think it was just after the change in leadership, and it sounded as if they were maybe taking on board the whole kind of fractured fan base and the complaints over the past few years that they're not actually giving us games that do anything that we want them to do. And at one point there was like a general like question where you could write in like, what is there anything that you want to tell us that it doesn't fit in elsewhere? And I literally answered it telling them that I want Shaun and Rebecca to come back. So at the very least they have one survey in that pile that is flagging that Shaun and Rebecca need to come back. So who knows? I might not have been the only one who put that down, and maybe they're listening. Maybe they'll read it and be like, you know what? Maybe we should. So maybe who knows? Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. But the fact that they put them in Nexus gives me the tiniest bit of hope because they very easily could have not done that, and they did. They obviously felt that that was a worthwhile thing to do. Um, so I live in hope, but yeah, I have no idea when we might see them again. But if they do reappear, I'll make sure to add an like make a new video. So, if this series continues indefinitely and they do appear randomly again, I might end up with a stream of these like videos where it's like this really long one and then a bunch of little chunks every time it happens again. But it's also there's also a not 0% chance that this could be the last time that we ever see them, and this is the only video I'll ever make about it. But time will tell. That is, for now, the entire relationship timeline of Shaun and Rebecca. Um, I didn't put a script, a conclusion. I literally just wrote conclusion, ramble, because I just suppose I just want to talk about like how much they mean to me. And the weird thing is I keep thinking like I don't really know why they are. Like I don't really know what it is about them that has drawn me in from the very start. And I suppose that's true of like most of the time when you develop a love for a character or a relationship or whatever, you don't always know why. It's just something and you see something in them. But like I really do, like I am properly down bad for these two and their relationship. um I remember when Syndicate came out, I was in my first year of uni and I had a habit of like zoning out in class because I was so busy thinking about like, I wonder what they were doing in London and like how did they get there and what is going to happen with Rebecca now? Like I was completely like my mind kept wandering because I was thinking about Shaun and Rebecca. And that still happens to this day. I really love these two. I really love their dynamic. And I think that the actual evolution of their love story is really interesting. I think the way that it evolves from them starting out, as I said at the beginning, this incredible backstory where Rebecca sort of functions as this guardian angel who's protecting Shaun from the sidelines. She saves his life, and then they become partners, and they have this like kind of antagonistic banter, but you know that it's actually like a friendly banter. Um, and then we start to get the seeds that maybe Shaun has feelings for Rebecca, but we don't really get the sense that Rebecca reciprocates. And then Shaun's feelings seem to get stronger. And then, we get to Syndicate, and we still don't really get a sense from there that Rebecca has like romantic feelings for Shaun. But she jumps in front of a bullet for him. She literally almost dies trying to save his life. And it's like you don't do that for just anybody. You know what I mean? Like you don't just jump in front of a bullet for I mean, yeah, would you jump in front of a bullet for your best friend? Probably. But it's like it makes a lot of sense to me that their relationship up until that point had never been explicitly romantic. It was just hints and like subtext, if you want, and Shaun's kind of wistful longing, and you know the people at Abstergo thinking that they're a couple, and the MP3 player email and all this kind of stuff. But when we came back 5 years later in Valhalla, they were married. And I was like, that makes complete sense to me because I feel like if there was anything that was going to force you into a relationship upgrade, it's jumping in front of a bullet for someone. Because it's like after that, there must have been a conversation where they had to face reality. It's like, you just almost died saving my life. We need to talk about what the fuck we are, you know. And I feel like that's probably what happened. Like like at some point one of them had to say what this is. And I have a Shaun and Rebecca playlist. I can absolutely show you it if you like. But there's quite a few different songs on that playlist specifically about that idea of when you're in love with someone and you both know it but neither of you will say it. And there's a song on that list called What It Always Was, and the line is it too soon to call it what we knew it was. These last 10 years have kept you cautious. We've been waiting long enough. And then something, 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 call it what it always was. And it's like, that's literally what this is that these two people danced around their feelings for so long. I imagine because they didn't want to wreck the dynamic that they had, and also because they are going to have to work together. Like, this isn't a job that you can quit. Um, so I think if either of them ever spoke up and was like, hey, I actually am like insanely in love with you, if the other one didn't say it back, that was going to create such an awkward situation for both of them. So I think that they both sort of ignored how they were feeling, even if there was some kind of friends with benefits thing going on with them. I think they both kind of ignored that this was developing, that they were catching like actual feelings until the point where it's like, okay, you almost died saving my life, or I almost died saving your life. We maybe need to address the elephant in the room. Like, I am in love with you. And I think that's how they suddenly like speed run over the course of 5 years, going from not a couple at all, as far as we can tell, to married and wanting children. Because I think at some point during that era, probably closer to 2015 than 2020, they like had to actually sit down and go, no, we, there's another song on that playlist called "We Were Never Friends," and it's the same idea. It's like, how can we go back to what we were when we were never friends? And it's like, that's exactly what I think this is. I'll link you to the playlist. I think I think all the songs on there sum it up really well, of like the fear of rejection, knowing that you're in love with someone and not being able to tell them, the fear of falling for someone who could die. I mean, a lot of the songs on there, there's like, I put on Cassidy Pope's "People That I Love Leave," but I meant it more in the sense of like, people that I love die. Because it's like, you're in the Assassins, and it's like, if you go into a romantic relationship with this person and then they get murdered, then that's going to be a far more painful loss than if you just lose your colleague. But at the same time, whether you tell them or not, that loss is going to be that painful. But I think that they were stuck in that situation of, I don't want to say I love you because people that I love leave. That's all that's all that I've ever seen. As soon as I hold on, that's when it all goes wrong because people that I love leave. I think that was the underpinning of all of it, was an intense fear of the reality of being in love with this person. And eventually it wasn't actually, like, there was no way that they could continue in that sense. Once she jumped in front of a bullet for him, they were never going back to, we're just colleagues who wind each other up. It's like, no, we are, you know, I almost died in your arms and you gave up getting the piece of Eden for me to try and protect me and save my life in return for you, like, we're never going back to just being colleagues. This is something serious now, and we have to deal with it. And I just think that's an incredible arc. I think that's a really great arc that they went on, and yeah, I just really love them. Um, I will just throw in here because I was going to say it at the beginning of the video, and then I just decided not to because I thought let's just get into it. There was a thing that when Valhalla came out and confirmed that they were married, that there was quite a lot of people on Tumblr who felt that it was homophobic. In the sense that Shaun and Rebecca both give off like not straight vibes. A lot of people headcanoned Rebecca as a lesbian. A lot of people ship Shaun with Desmond and see Shaun as a gay, which makes sense in some ways. Like, I'm not trying to sound stereotypical, but like he does have traits that like are commonly seen in gay men. He does have this kind of like obsession with fashion. He like he talks a lot about fashion, and how fashionable he is. And you know, I'm not trying to stereotype, but like we know that fashion is a big thing in the queer men scene. You know, we had a whole show called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy for a reason. Um, and so some people felt that this was like homophobic or like a disservice to their characters to put them together, and were like, what is this heteronormative bullshit kind of thing? What I would say in response to that is that's bi erasure. The thing is, like, I absolutely get where the queer Shaun and Rebecca thing comes from. It's just that for me, they were always the most bisexual people I've ever seen. Like, they both canonically have opposite sex exes. Shaun talks about his ex Kate. He also talks about a girl that he met, called Catalina, when he was touring Europe and she stole all his money. It was very Living La Vida Loca. Rebecca also talks about a guy that she was dating before she came to the Assassins. So we know that they have exes of the opposite sex. So they were never in universe. They were never supposed to be gay. Um, but for me, I'm like, these two are the most bisexual pair I have ever seen. And I say this as a bisexual woman myself. Like, my bi-dar was going off like the minute I saw them. I'm like, these are bi for bi. These are two bisexual people in love with each other. That's why sometimes he's like the more feminine, she's the more masculine. Like, they sort of trade places in that way that bisexual couples do. I know, being a bi. So just in that, I just wanted to address that because I didn't want anyone to think that I was glazing over the kind of um like queer elephant in the room of these two. It's not that I don't think that Shaun and Rebecca are queer. I just think that they're queer for each other. I think that they are both the most bisexual people that have ever existed, and they're bi for each other. And as such, their relationship is completely um, understandable. And also, as I said, 23 pages explaining why these two are meant to be together. I don't really have anything else to say on that matter. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I wanted to make this one for literal years now, and I'm so glad that I finally could. And I'm really looking forward to editing it and getting to spend more time with my favorites. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you are here from my channel, then let me know what you think. If you're here from the Assassin's Creed fandom and you're not one of the kind of usual viewers of my channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you are a Shaun and Rebecca fan who's here, when did you start seeing the vibes? When did you start shipping them? Were you shocked when they got married? Or were you like me and you had been writing Shaun and Rebecca fan fiction for like a decade by that point? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. I hope I will be back to see you soon with something else. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Oh, also, this jumper that I'm wearing is actually the one that I bought for a Rebecca cosplay for Comic-Con in 2016. That's why I don't normally wear orange. It's not one of my colors. But yeah, I bought this to be Rebecca and Syndicate. Got a little white beanie. Put leg warmers over my jeans to make the white patches. Got myself a rucksack. It was great. I had a great time. But yeah, um, I'm channeling my Becca vibes. Anyway, thanks. Bye.